Hey everyone, welcome to episode 10 of Film Club. I can't believe we got to 10 episodes of this thing, and Kenny Sparks looks shocked as well. Super excited to talk to you guys. You already know what this is, a weekly live stream podcast where we talk about films and the hottest thing that's happened in film, and it's a safe space for you to give us your opinions about film as we talk about it as well. And we have a packed show today. We're going to be doing a spoiler review for Thunderbolts. We're going to be talking about if the MCU is back and if it ever even
Back.
really left. We're going to be ranking the MCU films post Endgame and saying which of the 13 films. It's crazy that 13 came out, and ranking them from least to best. And we're also going to be talking about some little political stuff, but Trump has put tariffs on foreign movies. We're going to talk about what that actually means. I've
What
looked up
does
a
it
bunch of
mean?
articles. No one seems to be very clear on this, so it's still a developing situation, but we're going to touch upon it and tell you guys what we think about it. So Kenny, how are you feeling?
I'm great, man. I'm alive. I'm well. I'm so excited to talk about our topics tonight. We have had an amazing run of movies these last few weeks.
Yeah.
So I am excited, and it seems to only be getting better. Did we talk about? We're going to talk about like what's coming out this weekend. Um,
We didn't get to do that, but we could do that at the end. We can figure it out.
Yeah,
It's not
we can do
much.
that at the end. Yeah, it's not a lot.
It's not a
Well,
lot.
there's actually a couple of weird things, but overall, man, I'm doing well. I feel much better than I did last week. I'm not nearly as much pain. I went to a Kendrick Lamar concert yesterday.
Amazing.
I keep neglecting to say that, but yeah, man, went to go see Kendrick last night. It was amazing. I had such an amazing time. SZA was out there, SZA all over the stage. So man, yeah, it was a fantastic time. I'm really happy with that experience.
Yeah, and I'm good. I'm excited to talk about this movie all day. My personal review is out. It's the first time in a long time that I stayed up to like 3 a.m. to do a review.
Mm,
I paid for it in the morning when I had to go to work at 8.
I hear that.
Uh, but yeah, I'm good. I'm excited to talk to you about this, and this is going to be a spoiler review. If you want to check out our non-spoiler thoughts, definitely check out our individual videos that we have. Collectible Movie Man, see you in the chat. Thank you for saying this. He said Kenny Sparks is echoing, and I think that's actually my fault. Hold on one second.
I put my earphones in.
Yeah, there we go. I forgot. So we were so busy making graphics. But yeah, we're gonna be doing a spoiler chat. Thank you, Collectible Movie Man, for shouting that out. Appreciate that. We're gonna be doing a
Appreciate
spoiler
it.
chat on Thunderbolts. Huh?
No, I
Were
was
you
saying
saying,
I
Kenny?
appreciate it.
Oh, okay.
I was
And yeah, perfect. Okay, I can hear you well. All right, Kenny, go first. Tell us your thoughts on Thunderbolts, your initial thoughts, what you want to say, and your diatribes.
let me tell you something, niggas. We back like cook crack. Um, uh, Thunderbolts was awesome, man. I had such a good. That looks like beer. It's not. Thunderbolts was awesome. I had such a good time. If I finally feel like we are in that MCU feeling that I used to have in the first three phases. And it's not to say that there haven't been any good movies that have come out since phase three, because that's totally untrue. Most of the movies are solid to good. There's a few duds in there, but Thunderbolts is the first time I'm like, yes, we're doing it. We're cohesive. We're going forward. So I loved the movie, and not just for the overall universe, but I love the movie itself. Right. So the film, the film's uh, the film's focus on mental health was something that really touched me. Really, it really impacted me. I understand the feeling of loneliness. I understand the feeling of depression. I understand the feeling of all those things that Yelena and the rest of the crew were dealing with. I may not be an assassin, but you know what I mean. I'm a regular man, but I
Yeah,
still deal with those things. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be an assassin to deal with depression. You know what I'm talking about, or feeling lonely. You know what I'm saying? So I really dug those those character studies, and the thing that I really enjoyed about this film, like going forward, is that I finally feel like we have a checkpoint in the post Endgame in the multiverse saga, where we brought together a bunch of characters, built relationships with them that feel significant towards the future. Um, so what else will I say? So essentially, you know what, Zach, you go, and then we'll just go back and forth. I don't want to filibuster
Yeah.
this thing.
So yeah, I had a great time with Thunderbolts. I love the film. I think it's a great experience because they take these characters that I've been following along. Like these are not brand new characters if you've been paying attention. This is the
Right.
third project Elena has been in, and Florence Pugh is nailing it as this character. I think out of all the characters in this film, she has a firm grasp of what this character is and where it's heading. You know where she's an Avenger, right? Like
Yeah.
she's gonna be a main Avenger. She's gonna be a pinpoint character in this universe. No matter what happens to the rest of this team that they built within the Thunderbolts, and she just has the star power for it,
Let me ask you a
right?
question. So I
So
saw something online today, and or I think it was yesterday even, and they were saying Yelena is the only character to have significant growth since Endgame. How do you feel about that?
significant growth.
Significant growth through the the phases. Um, from where we met her to where she is now. She is she the only person, or they said that they feel like she's the only person that really, like, we know her. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts on that? Because I know that there have been other characters with growth, but her seems significant from where she
Yeah.
started.
I don't agree with that necessarily. I agree with the sentiment. I don't think I agree with the exact wording. I don't think
Hmm.
she's grown that much from the first time we saw her in Black Widow till now. She's still a character that feels kind of like lost and not like she's part of a team now, but we didn't get to really see that 14 months of what was happening and what she really like now in the team. When
Yeah.
Doomsday comes, that might change, and I'm like, yup, she grew a lot, but she's still quippy. She's still kind of sad. She's still kind of looking for family. We'll see if the Thunderbolt slash New Avengers is that family that she wanted the whole time that sticks with her. But I just think that we've gotten to spend the most time with her, and that's something
Right.
that I think we could talk about in terms of one of the things that's been missing in these phases: spending time with characters that you've seen for one time and getting to see them
Yep.
multiple times. Something that we've gotten in phase 1, 2, and 3. Like especially like phase 1, we got Tony Stark 3 times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In that
Is
one
she the only
phase.
character that we've seen three times in a significant fashion? Because we saw her in Black Widow, we saw her in Hawkeye, and then we saw her in Thunderbolts.
Yeah. So Wanda we saw twice.
Hmm.
Strange we saw twice. He
Yep.
was in No Way Home and in his own
Yep.
movie.
Yep.
Let's see. We saw Hulk twice, but one of them was like a small cameo, doesn't really count. We saw
Yeah.
Carol 3 times, but also 2 small cameos. And she was in Shang Chi. She was in Miss Marvel. Did she was in the Marvels?
Hmm.
Monica Rambeau twice. So we've seen a couple characters twice, but I think she and obviously Captain Marvel did was 3 times, but I think her 3 times was the most significant
Right.
because she was in a whole movie. She's been in 2 movies, right?
Yeah.
She's been in 2 movies. She was in a big chunk of Hawkeye. She was like a
Yep.
big part of that. So out of all the people that showed up a bunch, I guess like Agatha also, I think, she was a big part of WandaVision, and then she had her own show.
Right.
So those are the 2 characters that I feel like we spent the most time with. People love Agatha now because we saw her grow. Like I think in terms of growth, I think she probably grew the most so far in terms of her character changing so much. In terms of like finding out about her
Mm.
and how she was when we what she was doing in WandaVision to what she was doing in Agatha. Um, but we spent the most significant amount of time with Florence Pugh's Yelena out
Yeah.
of everybody, I think. Because I'm trying to think, like, yeah, Thor we only saw in Love and
Once.
Thunder.
Yep.
Spider Man we
No, we saw
saw.
Thor in Guardians Volume 3, I think, right? No, 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 or no, that was
No,
like
the Guardians
that.
were
Guardians
in
were in
Love and
Love and
Thunder.
right.
Spider Man we only got to see once so far
Hmm.
in No Way Home. So yeah, Daredevil twice, but he was barely in No Way Home. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think we got to spend the most significant time with Yelena, and I think that's why she's becoming a fan favorite because we're getting to spend time with her and we love her. She's funny. Um, Florence
She
Pugh is
is.
just a really great actress. That
Yep.
helps. And one of the best things I love about this film is that she tugs at the heartstrings, right? Like
Yeah.
everyone can relate, or yeah, everyone. I think even if you have a bunch of people in the room, you can relate to being lonely, not
Right.
having people who understand the struggles you're going through. And she, up to that point, felt like no one understood where she was at, and she lost maybe the one person that did in Natasha, and her trying to deal with that and the ramifications of that throughout this movie was really really engaging. So that's one thing I really really loved about the film. I love that we have an MCU film, and you can speak to this with me as well, that I don't have to be like, I really like this, but you know the production problems and then there's
Hmm.
patchwork and
Yeah.
not every movie has had that,
No.
but I feel like every movie's had like at least one scene, like Doctor Strange with the ugly eye at the end. That didn't look good. Um, when he got the third eye and the after credit scene, that third eye didn't look great.
Oh, I didn't think it looked bad.
No,
But
okay. I thought it looked like it was
I'll have to
flowy.
revisit it though. Yeah.
Yeah. I think when I think about obviously the black kid floaty head thing in Love and Thunder, how bad that
No,
looked, which is
that's.
crazy because to me the VFX in that movie are really good, except
Mhm.
that part. I was like, what happened? Did y'all add this after it couldn't fix it? Um, yeah, you know, Brave New World has issues in terms of VFX. I don't think the Marvels did. I think the Marvels looked actually really good.
I don't
Um,
remember. I don't remember it looking bad. I can say that
yeah,
much.
I don't think it looked bad. So like we have some production issues in certain movies and things like that, but this movie felt like a film from beginning to end in terms of like
Hmm.
solid, consistent cinematography. It didn't feel like it was shot like a TV show. Yeah, technically it is beer, but it's not
It's
beer beer.
ginger beer.
It's ginger
Sure,
beer.
it's Jamaicans. Um,
Boop, boop, boop. Sorry. Um,
that's your people. I had
that's
nothing
my
to do with it.
people.
What's up, reviewer Drew? Is Marvel back? We'll talk
We,
about that in a little bit. Oh, what's up, Lawrence Report? Cheers.
true.
Um, I can't read that because
This
my
is the
camera's.
third best
Yeah.
Phase 5 MCU movie behind Deadpool, Wolverine, and Guardians 3.
Okay. We're actually going to rank all the Phase 4 and 5 movies together later on in the stream. We're going to rank all 13 movies from 13 to one. Everything
Yeah,
post Endgame.
everything post
Uh,
Endgame.
hey Zach and Kenny, how do you feel about Jeremy Renner not coming back for season 2 of Hawkeye? I'm not too happy about it. I really like Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye. Do you want to talk about this now or later?
Yeah, we could quickly talk about it. I think
Yeah.
that it's a shame that they didn't want to at least pay him the exact
They
amount that he
lowballed him.
got for the first season. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
lowballing him, even though he's been in the MCU. This is the second time that they're lowballing someone that's one of the original six. Like they did it
Yeah.
with Scarlett Johansson, and now they're doing it with Jeremy Renner. The two people who really didn't get a movie and things like that, and weren't like linchpins, but they were important. Like people love those
Yeah.
characters and their chemistry. And Hawkeye was a really good show. A lot of it was Jeremy Renner. I don't think Haley Steinfeld
Hmm.
was ready as that character to carry that show.
Yeah. I'm
So
also
I
another
think
person
they.
who really likes Hawkeye. I know a lot of people don't, but I enjoyed it.
I like Hawkeye. I watched it
Yeah,
twice. So I watched it when it originally came out, and I think as a weekly show it doesn't work. But I think as a binge, it's
I
really
agree with
good.
that. Yeah, I agree with that.
Um, and it still has one of maybe the best action sequence in all the MCU shows so far. When they're running
On the
away
bridge,
from, yeah, oh my god,
yeah, that was
that
really
chase
good.
scene on the bridge, it was
Yeah.
all really good. So
Also,
the
the,
fact
the
that
fight with Hawkeye and Yelena and
Echo
Kate Bishop
and Kate Bishop, oh, okay.
and Echo. Yeah, all those fights
Oh, you talking
actually
about on top of the roof?
towards the end of the series were pretty good.
Yeah, even like Hawkeye, well, Kate Bishop Hawkeye versus like Kingpin and all that stuff, that was cool. Even though Kingpin was kind of goofy in that series.
Very.
I really liked Hawkeye. It wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, and I think after I removed my expectations because I read the comic that it was inspired by, and it's not as good. But after I removed that from me, I was like, I enjoy this. Like I like this as like a Christmas feel. It was funny, and yeah, I really really enjoyed the show. They should have paid him and brought him back. That's my opinion on
They
it. What
tried to
about
pay
you?
that man half for the same amount of work.
It's gonna be more work. That man is hurt. He has
Right.
to like work really hard to keep up.
What up?
What's
What
up,
up,
Rio?
Real Watkins? Yo,
CC
CC. Yo,
Zach.
Zach Milne. What's up, man? Papa Milne. Hey guys, Hawkeye has grown on me since it first came out.
I
I'm
agree.
glad to hear that, man. Like, so I like what you said is exactly how I feel about it. I view it as a Christmas show, and viewing it through that lens, it's really good.
Yeah.
And also it's also good either way. But like, I I really like that show because I don't think I didn't have the expectations on it to be um like a Falcon and a Winter Soldier because it never marketed itself to be something like that, right?
That's true.
Yeah. But yeah. So CC says I surprisingly loved Hawkeye. It's Yelena and Kate Bishop for me. They had great chemistry. Can't wait to see them
Oh
together
yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Bishop, well, um, yeah. One more thing, I'm actually reading Jenna Renner's autobiography. He put out about his accident and also talks about his films that he's been in. I'm almost done with the books. That's what's up.
Nice.
And my complaint is still that Kingpin comes out of nowhere. Report 100%.
Yeah.
The Marvel film, no, the Marvel TV shows had this terrible habit of having a good first episode, meandering for 2 or 3 episodes, and then in the fifth episode, it would say, "Oh my God, here's this really serious thing that we have to resolve in the finale." And then the finale was like 30 minutes, if that.
I
And it was
never
like, how the
understood that. Why
yeah,
every finale was the shortest episode of the season.
it didn't make any sense. I love
No.
Miss Marvel. Like that finale was like it wasn't bad in comparison to the others, but it was still like, wait, why did you take out the clandestine in the episode before this?
That's like it should have been like a 2 episode finale kind of thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, sorry, we got a little bit off track, but back to Hawkeye. Hawkeye. Back to Thunderbolts, rather. So what were we saying? I forget what we were saying.
We were
But
talking
yeah,
about
Thunderbolts.
Yelena and her being relatable and being one of the
Yeah.
more characters that we've gotten attached to, and
Mm-hmm.
just loving all that, and them using, um, them bringing these characters that maybe people don't know much about because some of them just came from TV or we haven't seen in a long time, like Ghost, and
Yeah.
giving them realistic issues. So like it didn't matter that you didn't know; you're just watching them deal with loneliness and depression and all these other
Yep.
things that comes with it. I think that was really smart.
Yeah, I think one of the strengths of this film is so we often hear about that conversation of homework and MCU homework and stuff like that, and people feel different ways about that. I think I feel differently from you about that, but we talk about it in different contexts sometimes. Like a lot of people put the homework as like, oh, Marvel's giving us all this homework to do, blah blah blah. Well, this is the content that you enjoy. It's never felt like homework to me.
Me
But if
neither.
you are my dad or my mom who has watched all the Marvel movies and is not going to press play on Disney Plus because she don't know how to work that remote, like she does. I'm sorry, mom. That's not true. Um, like my dad is like, what's on what page is this on? Like he's not going to watch these shows at all. And I think that one of the benefits of prior to Disney Plus of having everything in the movies is you had 2 hours and some change to tell a complete story. And by the end of this movie, you know who these people are. And that's very different from, hey, I need you to spend 6 episodes watching this person week to week. And if you didn't watch it when it was coming out, I need you to binge this before this next movie comes out. Now, thankfully, that hasn't translated a lot to people going from characters going from Disney Plus. I don't know, thankfully, but a lot of characters have not transferred from Disney Plus to the movies. I think
Yeah.
only Kamala, Photon, and Kate Bishop has in a very small
And
cameo,
Wanda.
and Wanda, but Wanda was already in the movies. Um,
Yeah.
and but yeah, and the rest of them have not that I know of. So what we have here is a situation where it like all these characters, whether it's Bucky, Ghost, Yelena, a Red Guardian, and
U.S. agent
uh, uh, but
John
that's the thing.
Walker.
U.S. Agent is really the only person to come from a TV show
Yeah.
that wasn't in a movie originally. So everybody else, you can figure out U.S. Agent, but like everybody else, you already know, right?
Hopefully.
And yeah, yeah. If you watch like the Multiverse Saga movies, you have a good idea of who everybody is. And I think Contessa, what's her name? DeFontaine.
Fontaine. Yeah.
Yeah, she was in a post-credit scene of Black Widow,
Black Widow.
right? So
Yeah.
you kind of have an understanding of who they are. So you don't
And
really
she
have
was
to
in Black
do.
Panther.
She was in Black Panther. That's right. So you don't have to do a lot of like quote unquote homework. They were in front of your face for 2 hours. You should know who they are, right? So the benefit of this Thunderbolts team is that you know who all these people are, and now you get to see them grow and congeal together, similar to the way that the Avengers did when they all had their own movies and there were 2 hours and some change. You knew them for a little bit. They come together in Avengers. Easy money to make them gain relationships and form relationships and how to fight with each other and their quips and their inside jokes and their personal relationships with each other and their separate little teams in between, right? So you had the science
Yeah.
bros over here. Um, you had Thor, not Thor. You had Thor and Hulk had their own little thing. Black Widow and Hulk, sun's going down, my nigga. Like you had all this stuff going on in between
Hawkeye, Black
them.
Widow, and all that. Yeah.
Hawkeye and Black Widow, they had the relationship. Cap and
Tony.
Captain Tony formed their little relationship or big relationship, the driving relationship. So you had all that stuff. So part of the thing I think is beneficial for Thunderbolts is that you have all these relationships. You've formed this team. You have all these inside jokes. Cucumber, you know what I mean, or the chicken, the meth chicken. Like you have all these relationships that you can now build off of and move forward with, and everybody has them together. Oh, that was in the BET version. But but yeah.
Oh man.
um, so yeah, but other than the like the large universe building stuff, this movie is funny. Red
Yeah.
Guardian is hilarious. David Harbour
He's the
steals every
best
scene that
part of
he's
the
in. He
comedy.
is
Yeah.
so good. The Chesapeake Thunderbolts were great.
Yeah.
That was a great
That was
running
really good.
gag.
Yeah. That whole car
Oh
scene was great.
yeah, entire car scene was great. Um, what else? Because I feel like I'm missing something. Oh yeah. We already talked about Yelena. U.S. Agent was really good as well in his limited role. And Zach, why don't you tell us a little bit about your, not a little bit, however much you want to, about how you felt like some of those characters were utilized. Some were utilized well, and some were over or under. Like, tell us about that.
Yeah, I talked about this in my review. We just talked about it extensively before the live stream. I think that the movie was too short, and with it being too short and focused so much on Yelena, which makes sense. Florence Pugh's the biggest star in the film, and Bob, played by Lewis Pullman, which we haven't even talked about yet, but he was a
Yeah,
linchpin in the film as well, and one of the more interesting parts in terms of with the themes of depression and loneliness and all those things. The other characters were severely shortchanged, right? Like I saw Zach make a joke about Taskmaster. My favorite character was Taskmaster. What a narc, you know. But honestly, I was upset. You know, I'm not. I would have rather they had introduced a comic accurate Taskmaster from the beginning. But I
yeah,
also understand it's the MCU and they don't do that all the time. And I wish they would, like, when you do something like that, just stick with it and improve it, because that's what they used
right,
to do. It felt like the way they treated her and having her in the first 10 minutes of the movie, and they just get shot in the head, unceremoniously, and then like robbed. It was just
right.
so disrespectful.
Yeah, they shot her and robbed her, and then she got burned to death.
Yeah,
Oh
it
no,
was
she was
just
already
too much.
dead, so I guess not burned to death. But she got
But
cremated afterwards. Like it was
yeah, and it
crazy.
was just like she dead, guys. She dead. Don't worry about it. We not gonna bring her back.
Right.
There's no.
Yeah.
It's like okay. It just felt like
Hmm.
those people who were just shouting at them. They. That was the first time I felt like the MCU felt a little DCEU ish, in terms of the way they handled that. So that
Hmm.
rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, but that wasn't a super big deal. It didn't linger until after I thought about it. I think John Walker was set up to, like, they kept calling him an asshole and they were making fun of him being Junior Captain America. I think that his shame room wasn't enough. Because I was even talking to my friend where it was like she was mad at him because he wasn't like staring at the baby. Like it was kind of silly. I felt
I
like it needed to
did
be
find that
more.
a little weird. It's like,
Yeah, it wasn't like the
so
baby was in the carriage by himself and he was on the porch not looking at her
right,
at the baby.
right, yeah. Like, so I would have understood that. Like if his carriage was right outside the porch door and he was just outside walking around and talking, and the baby is getting like moving towards like a furnace or something like that. Like, you didn't watch the
Yeah,
baby, blah blah blah. That make more sense than, because what kind of conversation am I supposed to be having with this child? I'm reading the article. The baby's alive. We're good.
yeah, and it's not like he was doing it all day. Like you
Right.
didn't show that. Like so, but that could have been built upon if they did more showing than telling.
Yeah.
You know, the someone talked about, and I think it was Real Walkins talking about. I went into the Thunderbolts with no expectations. I walked out with being one of my all-time favorite MCU films. I'm glad that you said that. The climax absolutely destroyed me. And let's talk about like that climax was one of the most innovative, not innovative, but like different climaxes that we've gotten in the MCU. It felt like
Yeah.
a A24 kind of thing, and we've gotten
Hmm.
A24 writers on here. You know, they did Beef, that's an
Yeah.
A24 show. They brought
Hmm.
that here, and I really appreciated that because the way they set it up, there was if the Thunderbolts was to beat Sentry in a more traditional way, I think it would have been like,
Punch,
what?
gun, shoot, kick.
Yeah, it would have been dumb because they set
Yeah.
the character up in a way where he's untouchable. So I love the way they went about it, but the fact that we only got to see Yelena's shame room again and not get to see Walkers and dwell in that, not to get to see Ghost because she
Yeah.
was shortchanged because we don't know anything about her still at all.
Yeah.
We don't know why she kept coming back. That would have been interesting to
Mhm.
see if there was a situation where someone came back for her and she learned that or something like that, or maybe she
Yeah.
said she was going to come back for a friend in a situation and she didn't, so
Hmm.
she's that's held on to her the whole time.
Yeah. And
We
it's not like we're
Red
saying that.
Guardian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not like we're saying we want to take something away from Yelena and
no,
Bob. I'm saying like make the movie longer. Give us the U.S. agent shame room. Give us the Red Guard, because all we know about Red Guardian right now is that he regrets that he let Yelena and Natasha go
Natasha, damn.
to the Red Room. Of course, I understand that. However, comma, what did you do in your life that you were
Yeah,
like, whoa, it's kind of, or what happened to you? Because a lot of it, like, it wasn't just like what you did. Well, actually, no, it was what you did, because I was thinking about Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, and I was thinking about like what was her shame room. Like her father got shot, yes, but she told the people where she lived, right?
yeah,
So
she
that
felt
was
guilty.
her shame. You know what I mean? So what, like, so I would love to, because you mentioned in your review that you would have liked to have been like 20 minutes longer, and I would have loved to have seen everybody escape that. I even would have loved to see a scene of Bucky saying, "I dealt with this. I'm fine."
Yeah,
You know what I
that would have
mean?
been the point of Bucky being in the movie. He's like, I've done therapy. I know how to
Yeah.
handle this. I'm not ashamed of my past
Right.
anymore.
Yeah.
Get out of my way, and I'm gonna help my new
Right.
friends. And that would have gave a reason for Bucky to be on the team. And because at the end, I was like, why is Bucky choosing these guys instead
Yeah.
of choosing Sam, who's essentially his now best friend,
Hmm.
to be on a team with? And I was just like, it would have made sense if he's like, they need me. They're all
Yeah.
broken. They don't know how to handle this. I have the tools to help them and keep them in line because they can easily go to that dark side. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right. Something I read in the chat was like, "What's going on?" I'll pull it up in a second. But,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, boop, bop. One of the things I mentioned in my review was I was talking about how cool all the characters were, but then I stopped for a second. Like for Ghost, I don't understand why she cares about these people, like at all. Now, do I want her out of the
No.
movie? No. Also,
No.
once again, I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. It's one of my favorite Marvel movies since Endgame. So we're just talking about the dynamics of it. Nobody's
Yeah.
trashing it. Like it's a really
Yeah.
good film. It's my number four film of the year, right? So, um, but yeah, but who we have not talked about is Bobby Womack.
Yeah.
Bob is probably my favorite of the new characters that we've gotten. More than Moon Knight, who I do enjoy, more than She Hulk, who we got. We got a series with her, but she wasn't as like she didn't get the depth that Bob got. Like we learned some things about her, but we didn't get the type of depth or even great character moments that Bob kind of got in this situation. But Bob, man, Bob came in like a wrecking ball, and he really stole the show with his meekness. He's so different than any other character in the MCU in terms of
Yeah.
his temperament and how he interacts with others and his worldview, and even him being like, "Yeah, I was on meth." You know what I mean? I was on meth. I was doing this. Like he's the most regular guy of regular guys in this
With this
MCU universe now.
extraordinary power that can
Yeah,
affect everyone.
yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, man. So yeah, Bob. I really I love the running joke of saying Bob's name so much. That was
Yeah.
hilarious. That was really funny.
Because
But yeah,
everyone has that friend that's like, we protect that person, and that's the person
yeah,
that always gets in trouble. We have to make sure they're safe, and it's like Bob, and
yeah,
it made it more relatable, and you could understand like why they're doing this thing. They cared so much, even like Walker, who was like giving him shit the whole time. We
yeah.
have those character dynamics in real life. You keep shit
Hmm.
one of your friends, but you like actually still do care about them.
Yeah.
That was dope. I really
Even the
really like
post
that.
credit scene was like, I did the dishes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't
I'm
superhero
doing my
until I did
best.
the dishes. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I want to get to some of these comments real quick so we don't get too far behind.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about
Um,
some of our favorite moments.
yeah. Bob was a beast. Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, we should definitely talk about the Void and Sentry because
And
we talked
Century,
about
yeah.
that. People saying hi to each other. Let's see that. Her butt is weird. This is what I was reading. I was like, what's happening?
Oh, well, you saw
Uh,
that.
yeah, her butt is weird. I learned that. What was the conversation? Oh wait,
They
I
said
said we
that
didn't learn much. Oh, because her butt was
the
hard.
back to back,
Yeah, 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 that was
the
funny.
back to back thing.
Uh,
Yeah, that was funny.
yeah, that was hilarious because I read that I was like, what is he talking about? I would have loved to have seen the rest of the characters. Void rooms. Yep. That's a better. I'm sorry, Zach. That was a better phrase than shame room.
Yeah,
Void room.
I
Yeah,
think the only reason I said shame room because I saw people saying that in reviews, so I just took it.
yeah.
Yeah,
But that joke about Bucky's past was a high point. Yeah, it's like, listen, I got a pretty good pass. Like that was funny.
I think they still could have
I'm
did it though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think so too. I miss your last scenes, like no, yeah, yeah,
Facts, we all
man.
do.
You were part of the culture, man. Me
Ah,
too.
that's good to hear.
Nice, good to hear. Wish we finally got more Taskmaster though. Her scrap storyline sounded pretty worthwhile and surprisingly funny. Zach, can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because you were telling me about that earlier.
Yeah, so the director and the writer of this have been talking about some of the things that was scrapped from the movie. And one of the things was that the reason why Ghost, we're complaining about Ghost and not knowing much about Ghost is because Ghost, most of her stuff was with Taskmaster and them bonding over the fact that they both don't have control over their bodies for a long period of time, but in different ways. Like Ghost can't get out of her suit or she'll just dissipate. And Taskmaster was controlled by her father for decades, apparently. And they were going to bond over that. But then also, her memory is shot still. And Ghost was going to make sure she remembered where she was, why she was doing things, who they were when she lost her memory. But she also was going to try to attempt to kill John Walker because he's an asshole, which would have been really funny and tied into the consistent joke. And then that bond between them, I think would have been really, really good. I think all that would have added even more to the story because loss of memory after trauma is a real thing. So them touching
Yeah,
upon that would have been really, really cool as well.
yeah,
And I think would have been able to drive her closer to becoming more the Taskmaster that we know and love from the comics and the video
yeah.
games because she would have been around these goofy, talky characters and then she would have
Hmm.
inherited all that eventually. I think
Yep.
that would have been cool too. But yeah, that's like basically what they cut out of the movie, both
Yeah.
their storylines.
Yeah, Ghost would have definitely better benefited from that because when I was talking earlier about how Avengers movies are essentially checkpoints to build relationships between the characters and then train them to go on missions together and stuff like that. And then we, by the time they leave, they have a whole new worldview.
Yeah.
But and I was saying, teams within teams, right? Science Bros and stuff like that. I think Ghost is the only person without like a partner. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
without her own like little relationship. That's why I was like why does she care about these people? But
Yeah.
other
She just
than
kept coming
being
back just cause.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing about her coming back was she tried to leave. She couldn't start the elevator, so she had to come back
Yeah,
for them.
yeah.
I think the second time was yeah, she had the
When she
car.
pulled up with the car.
She was going to drive off. Was like I can't really get out of here without them. So it was kind of like
Okay, okay.
it was always like necessity based until it became not necessity based, right?
Yeah.
Also, little character moments too. Right after that, when they're walking away in the desert, and John Walker stops and cuts that fruit and gives
And
everybody a
gave it
piece of
to
fruit.
them. Yeah.
Character,
That was great.
hello, character moments. Um, what's up,
Two
Prince?
Faces are just like, I want to talk about Thunderbolts too.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, like I think those moments are crucial
Crucial.
to what we do.
Crucial.
But yeah, Century and the Void, because I have some thoughts on Century.
Okay.
And I have some. Well, my thoughts on Century aren't that bad, but and I also have some thoughts on the Void. I thought the Void was great. First of all, let's talk about the Void. The
One of
Void
the best
was
visual
awesome.
effects thing that I've seen in a big budget film in a
Yeah,
long time.
the eyes were like
Yeah.
so impactful because you could barely see them like twinkle. It's almost like we saw Sinners, right? And Remy's
Yeah.
eyes. It was kind of like that
Yeah.
same kind of effect where it's like, what is going on here? Right? And
Yeah.
him being all black, showing the void. And the dope thing is them showing the writing that they did earlier in the movie, like pack it all down and stuff like
Yeah. And it
that.
finally came
It
out.
finally came out. But another thing is in the comics, I believe one of the things that Sentry has to deal with continuously is the void. The void is always
Yeah.
there, and
Yep.
someone builds him this like
That's his
machine or this.
villain. That's his
Yeah,
Joker. That's his Lex Luthor. That's who he's fighting at all times. But it's
yeah,
him.
right. Yeah, and one of the things that I think happens in the comics is someone builds like a belt for him and something like that, so he can almost harness the void at times, and it's like it's there. So
That's what the
and
Sentry belt in the
it's by
comics is
his
for.
yeah, it's by
Yeah.
his stomach, right? So he's pack it all down. I was like, void
Yeah.
stuff, right? Um, but yeah, I thought the void was a really strong villain in this
Yeah.
because he was so personal to the characters and was able to become personal with the other characters.
Yeah.
But
He's a
yeah,
protagonist and antagonist at the same time.
yeah, but Sentry on the other hand was also. It's interesting how there's like three distinct people here. You have the Void, you have Sentry, and you have Bob,
And Bob.
right?
Yeah.
And all three of them are very different. The Sentry, I'm interested in seeing what he becomes because Sentry's whole thing was Sentry almost turned a little evil a little bit. It was like, well, not even
Almost
evil.
Homelander. He
Yeah,
felt like he was going
yeah.
Homelander.
If you're saying there's a God on the Avengers and you're saying that I'm the Avenger, I'm the superhero, then I'm more powerful than the God. So why am I listening to you?
I'm a god.
Right.
That was some of the best dialogue in the film.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. But yeah, I found that to be really interesting. But what I also enjoyed about the nuance of Century was when Contessa Allegra de Fontaine can I feel like I missed the V. Anyway, uh, when Contessa or Defontaine
Yeah.
told Century, "Hey, go finish the job. Go kill the Thunderbolts." Right? He was like,
Yeah.
"Why? Like they've done
They're
nothing
no
to
threat
me.
to me.
They're no
Yeah.
threat to me. Like there's no like so there's such a dichotomy of like this type of thing. Interestingly enough, in no way, shape, or form is this accurate. But he did remind me. He did remind me of was it Nuclear Man from Superman?
Oh,
Ford.
yes, the costume is so similar. And the look with the hair and everything,
Yep.
yes. And that's
Yeah.
funny because he's a made up character for that movie.
So that brings me to my point. I don't like that costume at all, and I almost feel like that was intentional. I know it's comic book accurate, but it just looked like what I said in my review was it's the most comic book looking superhero suit, and I don't mean that in a good way. It looks like
Mm.
cosplay almost. It just looks strange. That yellow was weird, but the hair dye was weird too, right? So you have all of that, and I think it was just meant to be off putting, in my opinion,
Mm.
because all of it was like, why is your hair blonde? Like I'm because he was just doing what Contessa was telling him to do, right?
Yeah.
So
It's the blonde hair white man in a
it,
suit like that.
did you catch that?
That they wanted to present that to, yeah, exactly, they wanted to
Yeah.
present that to the world as this is what the superhero is.
Hmm. Yeah. So
Um, that's
so
interesting.
yeah.
I like the suit a lot. I think it was one of the better one to one. No, it's not one to one, but one of the better like basically ripping the comic books and then adding the lines because they always add the
Hmm.
lines
They
to make it look
always
like
had
armor.
lines.
Always
Yeah.
add lines. I don't know
Always
how it
had
would look
lines.
smooth though. Maybe
It
they
would
could have did
probably look
texture.
more smooth. Yeah.
Maybe they could add texture instead of lines. But yeah, I actually
Hmm.
like the suit a lot. I think maybe the belt should have been a little smaller. I think that part was probably a little too big and a little
Yeah.
goofy a little bit. But overall, I
Yeah.
did like it. I like that it wasn't bright yellow because that would have looked really
Hmm.
weird. It was more a subdued yellow, but I liked it a lot. The blonde hair was weird. Seeing him a brunette the whole time, and then the blonde, I was like,
Hmm.
we could ditch the blonde hair for Century. That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm sorry. So I'm looking through our comments a little bit. Um, okay, so let's start here. I thought Bob was awesome. He was a really good character. I agree. Very well fleshed out. Three different versions of him. He still bothered me. He still bothered to me. He's not Century. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Um,
what he means by that.
how do you how do they deal with Bob when it comes to Doomsday? They have to nerf him somehow, right? So here's what I
No.
think is going to happen. I think Doom is going to get to Bob, and Sentry is going to be on Doom's side because of
Yeah.
manipulation.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's what I think is going to happen
Because we've
because
seen that he can be easily manipulated, right?
yeah, right,
Yelena is not trying to manipulate him, but she is coercing him into being in his family. He's there because of her. There's like a
yeah,
romantic kind of thing. It seems like it's starting. You know what's funny? This is a
yeah.
side.
It felt more sibling to me.
Yeah, okay. I felt like there was some times when they were looking at each other. I was like, oh, okay. But I feel
Hmm.
like there was a big issue with like Natasha and Hulk, right? And I feel
Hmm.
like they're doing it again here with another Black Widow, where she's
Okay.
controlling a person that has an alternate ego that can come out. But I think people are going to be more okay with this version of it, just because Sentry's not a very known character. Yelena is not a very known Black Widow. I don't even think
Not
she
at
gets
all.
comic runs on her own, so she's open to like mass interpretation with this because the
Hmm.
version of the character in the comics is nothing like what Florence Pugh is playing it, right?
Yeah, they are
Um,
sisters, but she's trying to kill Natasha at all times.
it's on site. It's the definition
Yeah.
of on site.
Yep.
So since these characters are so different, because even like Sentry's completely different, because Sentry's this all knowing kind of like very studious character.
Hmm.
Bob is not like that at all. So I think that they open it up where like they can have this. Maybe it is a sibling thing, but they can have it where like she is his whisperer, and they were trying
Yeah.
to do that with Hulk, and they ditched it because people didn't like it. Mainly because of the whole like we can't be together because I'm a monster too because I can't have babies. I don't know what the hell they were thinking when they said that
Mm.
with Natasha, but I think it's just funny that they're doing that. But
Of all things, for her to think that that is the reason why she's a monster,
I don't know
that she
how
can't have
Scarlett just
children.
didn't say no.
Yeah.
Scarlett should just like, no, let's not do that. Let's just say I don't want to be with you because I'm scared of the Hulk. Like, don't
Yeah. Right.
do
Anything. Anything.
but that. But yeah, I'm really excited to see Sentry. I think your idea of Doom taking control of him is possible, but I do think maybe we get a Thanos Hulk moment in Doomsday where it's Sentry. We just saw what he could do. He's scary, but then Doom just beats the shit out of him, and it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, like, damn.
What do you? So I have this very weird, potentially offensively dumb idea.
Oh god,
What if? What if Doom cures Bob's depression?
no.
No, no, no. I'm saying like
Or
as
he
a-
fakes cures it.
no, I'm saying as a depowering mechanism, like because Doom is more scared of the void than he is of Sentry. He's like, let me cure that. You know what I'm saying? Take that away, and then Bob becomes different. But then Bob is not Bob, right? Bob is not
Yeah,
the same person. Bob. Okay, no. What I was about to say was stupid. I was like, Bob becomes an asshole. It's like, oh wait, you cured his depression and now he's an asshole. Like, please stop. So anyway,
That's why they
okay.
should not do it because
That's
that's
why they should not do that.
too tightrope.
Too risky. You finna get every think piece. So yeah, so don't listen to me, guys.
People
What
already
up?
were pissed that what's his name? Peter was able to cure people's villainous nature. Like what? That was so in No Way Home. That was
Yeah,
weird.
I know. Yeah,
That was so
not only
weird
that,
because some of it was
he,
mental, and I'm like, what?
yeah, and like part of it is like also all these people are dead. What are we doing anyway?
Yeah,
So you brought these dead people back from what point in their timeline? Oh
right
no, they
before they're
actually
about to
did
die.
explain that because they were like, "Oh, I was about to die, or I was about to kill you, or blah blah blah," and I
Yeah.
showed up here. Anyway, oh wait, I didn't read this. What up, Zach and Kenny? What's up, Michael 101,591? I think I got it right. I'm sorry, I took your thing. Do your thing.
Michael 11591, my favorite name to say on YouTube.
What up, Zach and Kenny? I enjoyed Thunderbolts. It was way better than Captain America: Brave New World. Okay, I tend to agree with you.
And I
Um,
disagree.
yeah. Taskmaster was handled better in the film than Black Widow. What do you mean
I
by
do
that? I don't
not
know
agree at
how
all.
that's possible.
That's the hottest take. That's scorching.
um, yeah. Tell us more about what you mean by that. How do you feel about the new Avengers retitling? Is it a genius marketing move and kept secret or a gimmick? You want to just get into that now?
I was about to say, do you want to switch over from the spoiler review into that? We could do that.
Yeah, we could just do that.
Yeah,
So
so we're
yeah,
gonna be talking about new Avengers and MCU being back on track. Yeah.
thank you for the
So
segue, Zach.
yeah,
Appreciate that.
he's good at this. He's a pro live
You
streamer.
know what it is. Um, but yeah, so essentially, I don't know if you guys have seen. Essentially, the Marvel Studios, about 4 days after the movie came out on Saturday, they were caught is a weird term for this, but they were people who work for them were seen taking off a certain. First of all, well, let me get finish what I was saying first. They were seen taking down a section of the poster on a large side of a wall where it was revealed that they're the new Avengers, which is the big secret at the end of the movie. It's like,
Yeah.
that's interesting. And then you sit through the credits and you think about that. What does that mean? What are the implications? Blah blah blah. But then they revealed that,
Yeah.
and we are going to kind of discuss why. I'm going to answer Zach's Milne's exact question about that. Do you think it was a genius marketing move? Oh wait, also, the very next day they changed all the posters to New
Yeah.
Avengers. If you look in your
And
ticketing app,
even yeah, I looked and I was
yep,
like, new Avengers.
it says New Avengers.
It's only on
Uh,
the poster though. It still says
yeah,
Thunderbolts as the title of the movie.
because the movie studios are like, all right, y'all doing too much. We can't just be out in here changing titles of movies. People are searching
On the
for it, like
weekend.
on the
Yeah, like
weekend. Like, what are you doing?
I'm not
Um,
there to do this algorithm stuff.
Grandma was like, I'm here for one ticket of Thunderbolts. We don't have that, man. We got New Avengers for you. That's all we got.
Like
Um,
what? The one with the Florence Pugh, the cute girl. Yeah, yeah, yeah. New
with the
Avengers.
pew pew.
Pew
Um,
pew.
so yeah, so essentially, man, please. So essentially, what do you think about this sudden change of the title?
I have mixed emotions, right? So,
Hmm.
at the end of the movie, they help Bob calm down the Sentry and the Void personalities. They go
Yep.
after Fontaine. She called in the quickest favor to get press there ever.
How
I
did
don't
they
even know
get there
how they
that
did that.
fast?
I
She
don't
just
know
got out
because
the
if the
vote
whole city, that's what I'm saying. If the whole city was the Void, they must have been on their way and stopped in the void, and then like,
Right.
okay, and then drove more.
Yeah.
And then it introduced them in a very Norman Osborn way. And I don't know if they're replacing Norman Osborn with her or what they're doing with this, because this was what happened in the comics where Norman Osborn did a press thing and had them as the new
Okay.
Avengers, the Dark Avengers.
Hmm.
That's why a lot of people thought that this was going to be the Dark Avengers.
Yeah.
Um, and having like these are the Avengers, and we're all like, "Whoa, that's crazy!" Because like we knew that the asterisk was gonna change.
Right.
Um, I going into the movie, honestly, throughout the movie, I forgot because they made that emotional connection with the name Thunderbolts.
Exactly.
I was hoping that it would stay and it would just be their own raspy team that is kind of in the edge. Like they're like the Avengers are the righteous ones. The Thunderbolts are going to be kind of in the middle because they have this bad person that's
Hmm.
funding them, and they have to
Yeah.
kind of keep her in check, and she's keeping them in check, and that kind of
Hmm.
thing. Um, but they're the new Avengers now. And I liked it. I thought this was going to be really interesting to take all these characters and make them a separate Avenger team. That's what I've been wanting for a long time. So
Yeah.
I liked it within the movie. I think changing it a couple days after the movie came, it wasn't even Sunday. I don't even think it was Sunday yet that
No, it was
they
Sunday.
it was Sunday. Like people
Yeah.
haven't seen the movie. The movie, like the day wasn't even done yet, and they're
It was
already
like Sunday
revealing it everywhere.
midday. Like it was like the middle of the
Yeah,
day. Sunday.
middle of the day. They have
Yeah.
videos of people, the cast revealing it, and all that
Yeah.
stuff everywhere. It's so funny that Taskmaster's actress was there. She was just looking like, "Why am I even here?" Uh,
Right.
I it at first I was like, "This is desperate. This feels very desperate, right?"
Yeah.
But then Dandy, part of the movie tuber community, go subscribe to him. He's journeying through cinema. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Said
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
it's not desperate. This was the plan all along because they wouldn't have had it under the billboard. Plan for it to change on the movie apps. Have all these videos prepared already for them to do it. Have Sebastian Stan walking around doing it. It's not like this was a last minute thing. They had it planned. I just think that because the excitement for this movie is lower than they probably expected, it's maybe not the exact right move. I see a lot of
Mm.
people online upset that they didn't get a chance to see the movie because they didn't go the first weekend, and this has
Yeah.
just been like spoiled. Usually, you would have to avoid spoilers on like Twitter,
Hmm.
Instagram, and social media where you could just mute it. But getting
Right.
spoiled from the company that is
Yeah.
making the movie,
That's my issue. My issue is
yeah,
the company. My issue is Marvel spoiling their own movie. I know what the internet is going to do. The internet is going to internet, right? So
yeah.
I
There's
expect
clips of
that from
Century
them.
on YouTube already.
Yo, there was a clip of Century. Yeah, I was like Googling Thursday because we have our spoiler chat. I was Googling on Thursday, looking for a because I was writing my script at the time. It's like, hey, do you think it's a spoiler to kind of like talk about Sentry's suit? And then I just typed in Thunderbolts, and his suit was up there, like
Yep.
in Google. I was like, because it was from a thumbnail of a YouTube channel. I was like, yo, what are we doing, right? Um,
Thursday. Not even like,
Thursday,
oh, it happened
yeah.
on Sunday, so you had a couple of days to watch the movie. No, Thursday, the day where there's not a lot of screenings. Like there's
Right.
early screenings.
That's why I went 2:30 p.m. on Thursday because I wasn't dealing with y'all foolishness out there. But yeah, like so for me, it's yeah. I don't like the fact that the Marvel spoiled their own movie, and like let me walk you through this thought process real quick.
Yeah.
I feel like when I was watching Thunderbolts, this and I got to the end, and the name was revealed. That because I sat through this movie, I kind of earned that review. I was like, hey
Yeah.
man, I was here.
Yeah. I agree.
And I went on the journey with y'all to find out what y'all would become, and bang, y'all the new Avengers. Dope. That's awesome. I
Yeah.
was here
And let
with
the
y'all
word of
when it
mouth
yeah,
carry it. Everyone's
yeah,
talking. The critics are talking positive about it. The fans are talking positive about it.
yep,
It has an A minus cinema score, which is one of the higher cinema scores that an MCU film has gotten in a while. Other than I think like Deadpool and Wolverine.
yeah,
Like, let us talk about it and get people in the thing. Like, yo, you got to see this. There's something that's crazy that happens in the movie. There's some new
yep,
characters that's gonna be happening later. You got to check it out. This is a must see.
yep, yeah.
People will go check it out. But them doing this, I think is gonna have the opposite effect of what they think they have. We got to
And
see what
it
the second weekend is, but I
yeah.
think it's gonna have the opposite effect.
Now not monetarily, but the way the movie's being talked about, I have noticed I'm typically only on threads, but I have noticed that there has been a shift in the conversation. We went from talking about how good the movie is to Marvel's marketing strategy and why would
Yeah,
you do this? And I think
yeah,
that it's turned the Thunderbolts conversation from positive to negative because
yep.
y'all couldn't keep your own secrets. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Just over
but
here, Tom Holland,
right.
their own secrets.
So it'll be interesting to see what the actual financial impact of it is. The
Yeah,
crazy thing is we'll never know what'll happen if that didn't happen.
yeah. Can't go to the
So
multiverse.
yeah, like so now we just know, right? However, Colin, let's talk about this too. Thunderbolts is just a better name
Yeah,
for this
it
group
is.
and for this
It
movie.
is.
The New
It is.
Avengers, the only reason why the comic book, The New Avengers, is called The New Avengers is because they had to differentiate it from the Avengers. But no one in their right mind will walk around calling, hey, we're the New Avengers. Like,
No,
oh, so you're the new guys? No, that's our name. We are the New Avengers. Wait, so you guys are calling yourself the New Avengers? So are they the old Avengers? Well,
and then the new
yeah,
Avengers comic book is because the original 6 or 7 or 8 or whatever, I don't remember how big the team was at the time, disappeared. So
right.
Spider-Man, who wasn't on the team at that time, Wolverine, Blade,
Hmm.
a couple characters that people like but weren't on teams, comes together to do that, and it's like, oh, all these cool characters that I like are the
Yeah,
Avengers now. And then
yeah,
when the other Avengers come, then there's conflict and they become a big group. That's why it works. But when you
right.
bring a Yelena, like these are tertiary, I don't even know if I said that word right.
You did.
These are C, D, B, like F characters. Like
Right.
making them the new Avengers, knowing that Sam is going to be making a team and it's most likely going to have
Hmm.
Spider Man on it. I
Yeah.
find that is a tough hill for them to climb.
My thing is, if you're going to make a new Avengers team, have them be as much of a as a physical or a
Threat.
as a threat as the Avengers. Because as of right now, Sam's Avengers, if we're including Spider Man, Shang Chi, Sam himself, and a few others, they're wiping the floor with this team, right? So
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel, yep, she's on there. But yeah, well, let's get to some of these L comments.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay, we read that one.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Zach, for that one. I think Doctor Doom is going to have to try to manipulate and use him against the Avengers. I
Like you were
agree with
saying.
that. He's talking about Sentry. What do you think, Bob? Who do you think Bob will kill, Captain Marvel or Thor? Neither. I don't think either one of them.
I
Oh,
have
oh, oh, oh.
theory, right?
Mm-hmm.
Neither of these
Uh,
two, a
yeah,
different character that we would not expect at all. I think there's a possibility, and it's teased in Deadpool Wolverine, that Deadpool will be killed by either Sentry or Doom or another character. Somehow he's stripped of his regeneration powers or whatever, and that's why Thor is crying.
that's an interesting one.
They'll figure out how to bring him back, but
Yeah, because that's my only trepidation to it. Because Deadpool is a cash cow. You don't kill the cash cow, right?
yeah, they're gonna bring him back.
Yeah,
But just for
but
that
yeah,
moment, just like in Loki and Dark World, that was one of the more powerful moments in a movie that people don't really care for. Is that
yeah,
death scene?
yeah. Agreed. Um, so yeah, but I will give you my theory on who is going to die in this movie or in
Okay,
these next two movies. Red Guardian is dying. Red Guardian is getting killed in these next two
getting
movies,
fridged.
and it's not because I don't like Red Guardian. I love Red Guardian, but what would be a more powerful accelerator of character or deepening of character than Yelena having Red Guardian die by sacrificing himself for the glory, which he is all about, not in a narcissistic way, but he would willingly die for the glory. He would say it's for the glory, but it's truly to save Yelena from whatever is
And
happening.
then there's
Right?
another family member sacrificing themselves to save everyone,
Yeah,
and she's losing someone else to that.
yep. And there's a deep enough emotional connection with Red Guardian with the fan base, I believe, by that time, where we'll all feel it too. Like, yo,
Yeah,
no, Red Guardian's dead. Like,
he's so funny.
yeah, yeah, because I don't see him making it out of these next two Avengers movies.
It's a possible.
I think he will be the casualty, and he's also not big enough of a character towards where if he dies, it ruins everything or
Yeah.
stops everything, right? So he's right in the middle of like it's almost like Yandu. Like he's right in the middle of that. Like you're one
Yeah.
of those
That's a
characters that
good.
can die to propel.
That's a good one. I
Um,
can
uh,
see a big character dying though. I don't think
yeah,
all the OG characters make it out of this.
yeah.
I think Thor makes it because I heard that they're trying to do a George Miller Thor, which I'm down for. If you could bring like a Furiosa level
Mm.
MCU film, that would be fire.
Yep.
I don't think it'll be Thor, but somebody that is one of the OG cast, I think will go. I don't think they make it out of this.
But there's not a lot of those people. I think the only people we have right now are, I mean, Steve's on the moon, but we also
Yeah,
have Hawkeye.
yeah, I can
Hawkeye
see
could
him going.
be
Yeah,
one. Tony's dead, good and dead, and he's also Doom. Oh well, he's not Doom. Rob Downey Jr. is Doom. Um,
yeah.
Sam's not dying anytime soon.
I hope not.
Bucky,
Bucky can go.
Bucky might go.
He's been there since the beginning.
He's 120 years old.
You talk about fridging someone for somebody.
Yeah,
Sam losing Bucky.
and he's healed. And you know what happens when you get healed of your trauma?
Oh
You're the
yeah,
first person to get knocked out.
yep. Every time I say like, "Oh man, I'm bet." Every time I hear a character like get over some trauma, like, oh, you're gone. You're a goner.
Yeah, you out. Yeah, so Bucky, it might be Bucky. I don't think Wanda's going to be dead anytime soon.
She just
Or
died. They're not gonna kill her again.
she is she's dead. Yeah, Doctor Strange isn't dying.
Loki, maybe permanently this time.
No, I swear to God, if they kill Loki again.
You
Well,
talk
no, because
about
it's a
people
different
getting
one.
over their trauma. Huh?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
He's finally on Thor's moral level. I can see
Yeah.
that happening.
And also, in terms of, we'll get to these questions because we realize we're talking a lot. But in terms of Doom and his motivation of wanting to take, I don't know what his motivation is to take over the universe. Who's the first person you want to take out and take power from? The person who's holding all power in his hands,
The
which
God of
right now
Stories.
is Loki.
Yeah,
Right, he's the first person I'm visiting. So,
yeah.
um,
That's
and
maybe how he gets his power.
that might be the opening scene. But
Yeah, because
yeah,
in his place in the comics is Doom getting it from the Beyonder, who Loki kind of
yeah,
is right now. So
yeah. I love the sequence of the team saving civilians. Yes, and gas when the little girl got voided. Yeah,
bruh, I
yo,
was
I did
hitting
not see that
everybody in that
coming.
theater. I was like, what? In an MCU movie, a little kid?
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
was like,
god.
wow,
The way it
wow.
was done, I was just
Yeah,
like, and it's just so sudden. I was like, well, I was like, what
yo,
is going on? He's
yeah,
so disrespectful.
yeah. That was a rough one. I was like, no, not the little girl.
And they
Oh my
set it
god,
up so
yo,
well with Red Guardian talking about, I want them to cheer me. It's the best feeling. And it's happening
mm-hmm.
right there with the little girl. And then gone.
Gone.
Amazing.
Another piece of acting that got me teary eyed. Two, it happened to me twice. Both of them include the Romanov family. Um, Daddy, I'm so alone. I was here. I was here. It was going. I was like, I
Yeah.
feel you. But when he thought Yelena died, oh my god,
Oh, yeah. The
yeah,
reaction.
yo, I was feeling for him. But yeah, so that was good. Yeah. What was Zach and Kenny? I think you.
I think he repeated
Oh,
it
you
three
might have.
times by mistake.
Yep, there it is. I saw Sinners yesterday. One of the best films of the year, in my opinion. Amen to that.
Agreed.
I definitely agree. It's my number one movie of the year. Agree to disagree, Zach. Awesome. We love cordial disagreements. I
I
think the
love
title
CC's
switch was whack,
whack.
whack sauce. But I'm certain it impacted people's decision to watch it, which I also find whack. But hey, that's just me. Oh wait, she
She's
says
like, your
more.
shoes is whack. Your cape is whack. The way you market movies is whack. That guy is hilarious.
He is. I think Thunderbolts. We have a. I like Thunderbolts. We have prior and future films with Avengers in the title. Let this one be great. I was talking about this earlier. Like I think it was before the stream. I was talking about this when we have Avengers teams, right? We have an Avengers team. We're about to have an Avengers movie. There would be nothing better because you built our relationship with the Thunderbolts name throughout the entire film, right?
Yeah.
So when I'm watching, I'm like, yeah, the Thunderbolts, yeah, the Thunderbolts. New name gets revealed, and I'm kind of like, first shock and awe. Oh, that's crazy!
New
Yeah,
Avengers. Yeah.
yeah. Come down from it. I kind
Could
of
have been
like them as the
cool. We got the
Thunderbolts better,
X-Men, we got the Fantastic Four, we have the Avengers, and we have the Thunderbolts.
and we
All
had the
these different
Thunderbolts,
teams with
right?
dynamics, with different missions and different
Guardians,
dynamics. The
right? It gives them
Guardians,
a totally
yeah.
different personality.
I
Now
don't
they
want them to
feel
call
like
The Avengers of the Galaxy. Like, no.
right, and the other thing is like when you have that Avengers name, and we're seeing this online right now. When you have Avengers in your name, certain expectations come of you in terms
Yeah.
of your powers and what you're able to do and what have you,
Yeah.
right? So it's kind of like all your guys are Avengers. Avengers are able to stop a Loki or something else. You guys
And to
can't
piggyback off of that,
do that.
before this
Yeah.
even this happened, the dialect online was like, "Who's left to fight Kang?" Like before Kang was even switched out for
Hmm.
Doom, a
Yeah.
lot of people were like, "Who's left for this
Hmm.
new?" And they would show pictures of who's left, and like this team sucks. So
Right.
these are people who was powerful people.
Right.
So now
Right.
you got
Right.
a bunch of people who can shoot and kick, and it's like,
Yo, there's three super soldiers on this team.
yeah, it really is. No, isn't it four? Oh no, it's three super soldiers and then
Yeah.
Yelena.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I don't think I've heard anybody else mention this. That does not mean no one else has. I'm not some type of genius.
Yeah.
The reason why Red Guardian was using like a white whip for some reason, and the reason why Taskmaster may have been taken out, and the reason why John Walker's shield got turned into a taco shell is because half this team has shields.
Yeah.
Because Red Guardian carries a shield, or he's supposed to, but they took it away from him in this movie.
They took
And
it
then they
away
made
from
his
him,
a taco shell, but Sam Wilson has a Captain America shield. So you don't want two Captain America, you don't want two shields. And then Taskmaster carries her shield,
yeah.
and she got capped, right? So it's like, well, we can't have all these characters with shields running around because they'll just be called shields. They'll just call them Shield. The fans online will
Agents of
just call
S.H.I.E.L.D.
them Shield, right? They'll just call them the Agents of Shield, right? So yeah, like that's another thing. CC says, spoiling your own movie is crazy. Sucks. Others won't feel the way I did when they announced it in the movie. I dead ass lit up. Same.
Yeah.
We have the Ace Avenue cheer. I don't know if I did that to your standard, but cheer. Like I'm gonna stop now. Avengers versus New Avengers versus Young Avengers versus X. That's the other thing. There's a Young Avengers. So now we got the New Avengers, and Young Avengers versus X-Men. I need to see that in Secret Wars. I think we will see that in Secret Wars. I'm not sure if the Young Avengers team will be formed by then, but they might be.
They might be. Yeah.
Because they skipped ahead 14 months at the end of this movie.
Yeah. We don't know who's together now.
Yeah. I can see Red Guardian saving Yelena, let Florence Pugh cook emotionally in that scene because she would kill that scene.
Oh, an idea I had, because he talked about verses, I had an idea of maybe Sam will. First of all, I think they need to call Sam's movie Sam Wilson Captain America, like how they in the comics is Sam Wilson Captain America.
Yeah.
I think they need to do Sam Wilson Captain America Civil War, and I think they need to do Great Run. I love that cover. He has some dope ass covers. Let's talk about that. But they need to do a Civil War movie where it's the Avengers versus the New Avengers, and they're fighting over maybe a Jean Grey before she joins the X-Men, or a character that has a power, or maybe even like instead of, because in Civil War 2 is an Inhuman. I don't think they're going to be introducing Inhumans anytime soon. Probably later down the line, once like the X-Men storyline starting down. Yeah. I feel like eventually Kevin Feige will get.
Oh yeah, because they did have
stop being petty.
voice box in Multiverse of Madness.
Black Bolt. So
Black Bolt.
he's open to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what they could do is make Ulysses, who's the Inhuman that can predict the future, they should make him a mutant like they made Miss Marvel a mutant, and do that, and that'll be cool. Not Red Guardian. I see how people love him already.
This is exactly why they're going to do it.
Yeah, people have to die for the universe to mean something.
Yeah. If Bucky goes, it will piss off a lot of ladies. That's very true. I don't know if the MCU wants to lose that demographic.
Yeah,
You have a point. But
I can
there's
see
plenty
that.
of other handsome gentlemen out there. The
That's one thing that
ladies,
MCU is missing: the
ladies
beefcake and the
love,
cheesecake.
ladies love. What's his name? John Walker. All the ladies love John Walker.
Yeah, that's true. I've heard
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Wyatt
Taco
Russell.
shell with the taco shell. Yeah, they love it. I was joking about that completely.
I
No
heard
one.
people say that like he's an asshole, but he's cute. I've seen that on Twitter.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Who do you think they'll kill off in Doomsday from the original X Men? So here's the thing. We were talking about this before the stream as well. The 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 entire cast that they are bringing back from the Fox X Men. If you remember in Deadpool and Wolverine, and the Fox movies that led to Deadpool and Wolverine, all them niggas is dead. They're all dead, right? I think that the cast of those original X Men are coming back, but I don't think that they're coming back as the version that we met in the Fox universe. I think that they're coming from a different universe, but they're the same cast because it's the multiverse. But I also think this is a theory. Well, it's all theories really, but I also think that they may be on Doom's side. Like they may be from Doom's world, X Men on Doom's world, who are like on his side, like his minions and what have you. Because we don't even necessarily know if Doom is coming from the Fantastic Four's world, right?
Yeah,
Maybe he is.
most likely not.
Maybe he's not. I don't know. But man, get your butt out of the camera.
My ideal,
Um,
because we talked about this, piggybacked off of this, is if he's
yeah,
from Doom's world, this Robert Downey Jr., Victor Von Doom, maybe he saved the mutants. You know,
right.
like he
Yeah,
freed them from the human oppression, and they're on his side
right.
because of that, and that's why this X Men is with them.
Yeah. So, but to answer your question, whether I think will die, I think a good chance all of them are dying. Like I think there's a good chance they all get murked in this movie. If not this movie, by Secret Invasion. Nope,
Secret Wars.
Secret Wars. Because there'll probably be some carryover to Secret Wars because you need that. But technically you don't because it's the multiverse. They can just be recast again. Um,
Yeah,
so
but
yeah,
hopefully they don't do that too much.
no. Well, I would love to see like a montage similar to what we got in Deadpool and Wolverine of all the different universes of different types of
Mm,
heroes and stuff like that. Even if they don't have like major roles, just seeing like a peek through the universe, that kind of
yeah,
thing. I think that would be cool. Um, but yeah, so that answers that. Not Bucky. No, I mean he healed. You know what I'm saying? Little girl voiding diabolical.
it was
Hell, yo, that
diabolical.
was crazy. Um, the Asian action assassin.
Princey
All right,
movies.
now
What a name.
Suicide Suicide Squad and Thunderbolts are both badass teams. Which side are you on, bro?
Mm,
Hmm, that's a good question.
good
Um,
question.
damn.
My first
The
thought is
thing
Thunderbolts.
I feel so. Here's why I might go with Suicide Squad. Them niggas is vicious. Like they
Yeah.
are. Like the Thunderbolts are like we're bad guys. We're the baddies.
We're
We've
bad
done bad.
guys.
We've done bad things. The Suicide Squad is yeah, I killed that nigga. What you gonna do? Like they like that's their whole MO. Like when Peacemaker killed Flag, like it was like
Yeah.
yeah, I killed him. And
So
what?
what?
So what? He was the main character in the last movie and this movie. He had to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they got he
So
was in my way.
yeah, I think the closest this movie got to the Suicide Squad was Ghost killing uh
Taskmaster.
Taskmaster. Thank
in
you.
the beginning of the movie.
Oh,
And can we talk about that opening fight sequence? Was so dope.
it was. It was really dope.
One, it felt like straight out of a comic. It was so dope.
Yeah, yeah. Like the way that like the spacing was and the blocking of all of it
And the
really was really
storytelling
dope.
of who was going after who is like,
Yeah,
get out of my way. This is my target. That was
right.
really cool.
Yeah, and they came to understanding at the perfect time because if it would have went too long, and be like, hey guys, y'all don't realize that y'all are like fighting each other, and each one of you guys, like, how long are y'all going to not recognize this, right?
I would
I
have
think.
loved though maybe if it was like they fought throughout the building, and
Oh,
then as they got to the surface, they slowly realized, we shouldn't be fighting each other. That would have been cool.
mm, yeah, yeah, that would have been interesting. So yeah, I think I'm taking Suicide Squad on this one because I think that they're just ruthless. I don't think that they give a damn about all the moral conundrums. Like they grow a little bit, but for the most part, because in the Suicide Squad, they killed a lot of people on that island before they got to the castle.
For no
Um,
reason, just,
yeah,
just
yeah,
refugees,
just there.
rebels. Yeah,
Yeah, that I'm so alone. I would, man. And then like I was like, yo, they doing like real live like crying in this movie, like boo hooing on the street with a superhero. And that's I don't want to say it's risky. It's only risky in the sense that the people who don't understand that people be going through stuff. Like I did see one comment before about someone like I don't like the fact that these superheroes are like weak, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. I'm like,
I hate
nigga,
you're not
people
weak
be
because you show emotions, man.
yeah, get
Yeah, I
that
had a
alpha male.
friend, and this was her opinion. She just felt like they were trying too hard with the emotional aspect in this film, which
Hmm.
I was trying to I was trying to like get more out of her when she said
Yeah.
that because I wanted to understand where that came from, but she couldn't
Hmm.
fully explore the conversation just yet, which was fair. The movie just ended.
Yeah.
We didn't even get the final after credit scene yet when she said it, so I was like, all right,
Hmm.
it's fine that that's how you initially feel.
Yeah. I'm hopelessly optimistic about Daredevil appearing on a future Avengers movie. I am also optimistic. I hope that he does show up. It'll be really interesting to see a blind man in space and see like what how he's
What how
gonna
that affects his
like.
senses?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he that because I was talking about um who would have the worst time in the void, right? We were having that conversation before, and I was like, Daredevil. He's in there. He don't know what the hell is going on. He's
You don't know
walking through the
why.
void. These rooms are changing and ever changing and stuff like that. And I wonder, like, because the void kind of adapts to you. I wonder if the void would allow him to see for a while, so that he can
Ooh,
see all that trauma and stuff like that. Because
that'd be crazy.
otherwise, he's just literally, with no joke intended, going to be stumbling around because the void it just moves. It's just it's not
Yeah,
so the void would adapt to him and show him his worst fear, right? It might
yeah.
like or his experience, right? Which might
His worst
be
shame. Yeah,
the 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 chemicals in his eyes, right?
yeah.
Um, yeah. I remember reading something online. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. One last thing. The other person I was thinking about was Jessica Jones, dealing with Purple Man and
Oh
having to go
God,
through that. Right, that would
Jesus.
be horrifying. And the things that Jessica Jones has done and stuff like that, she would have the worst time in the void. Um,
Yeah.
who might have the worst time or might take it over is Scarlet Witch. So
She might be like, "Ooh, you thought that was
yeah.
cute? Give me this shit."
Hmm. So that would be interesting too. But yeah, I remember reading something online that the first X Men movie was going to come out in 2030. I also remember hearing that it was coming out later in the decade, towards I don't want to say next decade, but yeah, because they have this thing is going to like this whole like Secret Wars is going to end in um uh Secret Wars is going to be the end. I don't want to say the end of the saga because it'll only be like four movies deep, maybe. But yeah, it would have to happen like after Secret Wars.
No, well,
And
Secret
that
Wars is the end of that phase and end of the
yeah,
multiverse saga.
that's 2027. So
Yeah, that makes
yeah.
sense. 3 years later,
And
yeah.
yes, I love the new Avengers reveal, even though 80% of the new Avengers would be brutally murdered within seconds of meeting almost any foe the Avengers have faced. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
These
yeah.
Avengers versus Ultron would not be,
Oh my
well,
god.
maybe, because maybe.
Mm-mm.
Well, no, because it took Thor and Hulk to get through that. So probably not.
And Vision.
And Vision and Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver and like it took a lot of people and Iron Man having the full arsenal of his everything like so
Yeah,
yeah now they would get capped.
and he still almost got away.
Yep. Suicide Squad is something different. Hell yeah. Um, I can see Magneto dying in the movie Doomsday because Ian McKellen is 85 years old. I think Patrick Stewart is around the same age. I think he might be like 70. Yeah, Patrick Stewart, funnily enough, has already died as Professor X in the MCU.
That's why I
Um,
feel like it has to be like Magneto. Like Patrick Stewart can't die again. Like it's too much. Like we've
yeah,
seen him
because
die like at least 3 times.
his last two roles as Professor X, he got killed.
Probably his
In
last three. He died in X3, right?
No, yeah, you're right. No, no, no,
And he
no, no,
died
no.
in Logan. Oh no, no, not in Days of Future
He did,
Past.
yeah, so he's for the last four. He's like he's three of four and dying in the movie as Professor X. So he's
Yeah.
died the last 3 out of 4 times he's played Professor X. So that's not man. That's not
Let,
the best situation. Can you
let Magneto finally go see his
decide
family.
your
You
life?
know what I mean?
Decide on your life. Um, yeah. Suicide Squad got weirder, and I respect it for that. Yeah, the Suicide. Yeah, it was. I
Yeah.
liked it because I liked Starro being in there, and everything like
Yeah.
that. But before, like, we're going to take a couple more of these, and then we should get to our. We're about to
Next topic.
rank. Oh wait, are we going to do the rankings? Because I feel like we got to do anything else.
Let's see. We talked about the marketing. We did the Thunderbolts. Yeah. The next thing is ranking
Mm-hmm.
post Endgame.
All right. Sorry about that. I really should have got some water because I'm out of this ginger beer.
Me too.
Um, so, yeah. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take a couple more of these, and then we're going to go to our ranking. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to rank all of the movies that have come out post Endgame, from Phase 4 and Phase 5. We're not going to rank any of the shows because I don't feel like it, and there's too many of them.
And it's film club. We talk about movies, so it makes
Yeah, we
sense.
talk about movies. You know what I'm saying? I don't know whether
So
that
yeah,
has
we're gonna
anything to
rank
do.
them from 13 to one,
Yep.
from worst to best, and we'll give you small reasons why they're in that spot.
Yep. So yeah, let's take a couple more of these and then we're on our way. Acres of Movies. Hey, what's up? So what is your favorite MCU scene so far? This is a tough question.
Mine
Um,
is the ending of Infinity War, just because of how much that
yeah, that's a good one.
scene of the snapping and everything emotionally scarred me.
Mm,
Because anytime I see anything from it, I start
yeah,
welling up. Just because
yeah.
I that trauma just comes coming back. That's
Hmm.
kind of crazy that a movie traumatically affected me that way. It's a superhero movie,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'll just never forget that moment in the theater. Like in that moment, with all those people, the silence,
Hmm.
the
The
tears,
theater
people
was
who
silent.
say, "Yo," the way people are like, "Oh, I don't even like superhero movies that much," and all that stuff, and they're crying because
Hmm.
it was like, yeah, you actually do care about these characters. It was
Yeah.
just, yeah.
So I'm gonna go two routes with this. My favorite scene to revisit or fight to revisit is actually in Captain America Winter Soldier when Cap and
Mm.
Winter Soldier fight in the street. And that's when, like, Bucky, what? Like, that awesome fight. The
Amazing.
hand to hand, the knife, the placement, like all that. Cap
Him
hit him
versus
with a
Black Widow.
suplex. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, yeah, Black Widow, she rolled the bomb away. So that, yeah, that's one of my favorite fights in besides Hulk versus Iron Man and Age of Ultron because that was
Oh,
incredible.
that was crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, that's one of my favorite drones because like I like hand to hand fights. Like quite a bit. So,
Yeah.
um,
And
but as
second place,
far
I'll give a second place one real
yeah,
quick.
yeah.
Is the ending of Zack Snyder's Justice League, because Flash turning back time, going into Cyborg coming back to life, connected to the
Hmm.
box, him fighting his demons. It was just like one thing after another, just connecting in such a good motion. It was so good. And then Dark Side showing up. It was just so much. I was like in DC heaven. So that would be my second running up.
Hmm. That wasn't the question, but I feel you.
He said, "Was oh, he said MCU scene, not comic book scene. My bad. I gotta bring up that movie anyway."
No, it's all good. It's all love over here. So I'm trying to think of my other one because I feel like my oh well, honestly for me it is there's like there's a bunch,
There's so
but
many,
for
so many.
me it's Endgame, the portal scene, and when they
Mm,
start running, because I was already elated, like I was already on cloud nine because of Cap with the hammer and
yeah.
everything that was going on with that, right? When they start rushing and you see Ant Man and you see Spider Man and War Machine and they're all running and then Baku's in there and like you see all these characters, I literally started tearing up because I was so happy with what I was seeing on the theater screen that I was just like I literally remember thinking like I can't believe I'm seeing this right now. Like it was that crazy. And
Mm,
then everything that happens after that, that entire scene when Spider-Man gets the glove and he's running and I think it's Black Panther who throws him the glove and he's running, he's jumping, and then uh Cap throws a hammer and he swings, he webs the hammer, swings on the hammer, ends up on a Pegasus. She starts diving downward.
the
He's
most
like, "Oh
comic book
my
shit ever.
god!" Yeah, there's beams shooting everywhere. He just like I'm like, what am I watching right now? Like it was
And then the Captain
insane.
Marvel entry.
The Captain Marvel. Oh, when she
The
came through the
Russo
ship,
brothers should have
bro.
directed her next movie because they
Yeah,
handled her so
yeah,
well. Because the way that happened, everyone at that moment was like, Captain Marvel's awesome
yeah,
because
yeah.
that was
'Cause
so dope.
yeah, no, like no matter what people felt about her movie, which I actually like her movie. I don't dislike it. I don't love it,
Yeah,
but I don't dislike it. But
yeah,
like when you see her come through, people who don't even like her were like, "Yo, she's here!" Right, right. It was
yeah.
like it was amazing. Oh yeah, and then Scarlet Witch is tearing Thanos apart, and he's like, "Rain fire!" Like, but you'll kill this. I don't give a fuck. Shoot,
I'm gonna die if it's either
shoot,
I die or
nigga.
everyone dies.
Shoot
Oh
this
man,
crazy witch. So yeah, man. And then of course Iron Man snapping. Like
yeah,
it was almost like you knew, you felt he was going to die or something, but I didn't know. No, you know what I mean? I was like,
yeah.
somebody gonna die because this is that type of movie where that's why Red Guardian was dying in the next one. But or Bucky. Bucky's going to take the spaceship and he's going to fly directly into Doom's Andromeda ship and then blow it up so everybody can
That's
escape. Anyway,
crazy.
yeah.
And
Uh,
that's kind of like what
um,
Steve did with flying the ship into the water.
it would be
Full
that
circle.
parallel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you catch that U.S. agent said on your left in Endgame?
Yes.
Yeah.
Immediately, I was like, "Oh shoot, he's Bucky Sam."
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, that's one of my favorite ones so far. Um, so two more. I wonder if the void connects to all the void to the void from Loki. The void
Oh
from was that big ass worm thing?
no,
No,
the
that
void
was
was the
something else.
space where you go after your sponge. What's it called? When they in the Loki
I
show when
know.
they the TVA
Yeah,
hits you and
I
you
know exactly what you're
disappear,
talking
that's the
about.
place you go
Yeah.
to. Yeah, and it was in Deadpool Wolverine as well. That's where they
Hmm.
were. The void. That's interesting.
Yeah. See, and this is why I was like, I'm surprised you asked that question because that's not a question people are going to want to answer. Except for this one. My void room would be a movie theater showing DCU films over and over again. Damn, Zach pruned. Thank you,
Thank
Angus.
you,
That's true.
Angus. I know what.
Um,
After what you just said about DCU, I ain't saying thank you to you. Boo.
Zach is a big DCEU fan. I'm a DCEU person who likes certain movies. The overall product, not great. Individual movies, pretty fun. Um, but they got stinkers. Um, I said it before. I say it again. Bringing on Robert Downey Jr. I'm looking forward
Facts.
to it. Robert Dooney Jr. I'm sorry, I don't want to mess the
That's
joke up.
hilarious.
I was thinking this guy, Century Void, really thought he ate. Fam, you sent these people to hell. That ain't it. He's like, I'm gonna make you by putting you in the worst situation imaginable. Um, what's up, buddy? Sorry, my dog is talking to me. Last question. Last question from Mr. Purple Rain. From Mr. Purple Rain Drax or the Peacemaker, Johnny 17 Cena Troublemaker. I don't
I'm
understand what you're saying.
not.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not.
I'm
I'm
not
not.
sure.
I'm not picking up what you're putting down. Pruned.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to
All right.
start ranking the MCU post Endgame because my brain froze for a second. Post Endgame, all 13 movies. What's going the way it's going to go down is I'm going to say what my number 13 movie is, and then Zach is going to say what his number 13 movie is, and then we'll put this on the board so you guys can, or on the screen so you guys can see it visually. I don't know why I said that like that. Did I delete that overlay by accident? Oh wait,
Oh
no, I
boy.
never put this on. Let me download this and hold me like the river Jordan. All right, hold on 1 second. Downloading. All right, make yourself known. Here we go. I did not download it transparently. Let's fix that.
Oh, you did
Um,
delete it?
I think so. All right, here we go. Okay, so here we go. Post game rankings from worst to first. Here we go. I'm
Bars.
going first. Here's my number 13 movie, which I think is the worst movie in the MCU post Endgame. And that is none other than Thor Love and Thunder. This movie is freaking awful. And for many reasons. One, it is annoying as hell. There's really it doesn't use Gore to God Butcher well enough. He doesn't butcher any gods in this movie. None on
Not
screen.
on screen. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like, hey, he butchered the guy. When that happened last Tuesday. Oh shit, what? Like,
And
and
they had a
that's
perfect
the extent of
opportunity
it.
for him to do that.
Right. Like, it's like, hey man, here's a guy. You can butcher him on screen. Nah, say that for the after credits. Never happened. Right. And then it just wasn't like it wasn't funny. It relied it I like Taika Waititi. I still like Taika Waititi. I will never think that someone's a bad director because they directed one movie I didn't like, right? So this is his one movie that he directed that I don't like. And he just went full actually just two. He just went full Taika Waititi on this, and it just was like, hey, somebody need to pull the reins back. And then you hear the story about Kevin Feige, like you have to chase him down in the hallway to get some type of answers from him. He's like, hey, Taika's doing whatever the hell he wants to do. All right. And then keep
I yeah,
yeah.
pretty much.
So what's your number 13?
My number 13 is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. That is my number
Mm.
13. And while the movie is visually nice, and it has some interesting ideas, it's just really boring, right? It's just a large aspects of the film that I felt was really boring, similar to the first Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's just large aspects of it being boring, and it doesn't utilize its story or characters. What made interesting movies for Ant-Man and a little bit of Ant-Man and the Wasp is that Ant-Man's stories were heist movies. They were about
Right.
him being in heist situations, and they kind of try to make it like that, but the whole movie should have been Kang making the Ant-Man squad steal something from him, and because he couldn't do it himself for whatever reason,
Yeah.
and that because he can't shrink to the level that Ant-Man can or something. It's so small that only Ant-Man can get there, something
Right.
like that. But they instead just had like a hodgepodge of storylines where they introduce his daughter as a superhero, and then the new actress that they have just does not have chemistry with Paul Rudd, and this is called Ant-Man and the Wasp. But the Wasp that is his partner is barely in the
She's
movie,
barely in it. Yeah.
barely in it, barely used. The Wasp that they do use was really really interesting. Michelle Pfeiffer killed it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but she's not the main character that we're supposed to be focused on. The role's supposed to be switched. And while Jonathan Majors did a great job as his version of Kang, I just think that he wasn't threatening enough for his first time we're seeing him as Kang. I think that the way he was treated in terms of like, I know the ants were like a million years smart or whatever and they're giant. I just think Kang, that should not have been the way that Kang got
Yeah.
taken out,
I agree
or
with that.
almost taken out. I know he didn't fully get taken out, but I just thought that was silly. Oh yeah, Modoc. Oh god,
Oh God. Yeah. MODOK
talk
was
about
awful.
bad VFX
Yeah.
and terrible execution of a really cool character. It was just that just wasn't good.
Yeah. I'm totally with you on there. Yeah. So let me hold you. That's Bow Wow.
That's
For
my
the
shit.
young folk out there.
Sierra.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's the joint. I was singing, but my angelic vocals would have stuff in this room levitating. You know what I'm talking about?
Facts.
So yeah, my number 12 worst, or my number 12 ranked movie is of course The Eternals. The Eternals makes zero sense. It makes absolutely no sense. And I know there are people who love Eternals, and I'm not trying to yuck your yum at all, but indulge me for a second. If you are the Celestials and you have the power to make Cersei, who has the ability to change matter, she's a change matter changing engine, right? You have the power to create someone who can change matter, and you created this person. Why on God's green earth do you need to send down Eternals, or why on earth do you need to send an Eternal into the earth to gain human energy when we just saw Cersei change Sprite to a human being? So clearly, you gave someone the power to change someone into a human being, which is the energy that you need. So why aren't you just making a bunch of human energy? Because you can clearly make someone who can make human energy, but you want to do that. And don't tell me that you don't have the capacity to make all of that, because y'all are out here destroying planets for this same reason. It doesn't make any sense. On top of that, you sent the Eternals down, or yeah, you sent the Eternals down because the Deviants were deviating and killing life on the planet. But at the end of the movie, I just saw you pull three Eternals off the planet like that. So why couldn't you pull them off the planet? What's happening here? Like, so there's so much of that. And then on top of that, you have the lack of score. The movie just, there's so many,
You and the lack of
there's
score.
there's so many awkward scenes when Cersei and Icarus, or whatever his name is, first meet up and they're
Icarus.
talking face to face in that alley. And it's just like they're just talking. It's the most awkward thing I've ever seen. There's no score. They just what is happening? All the interesting characters got killed. Ajax, not Ajax. Yeah, Ajax got killed. Bartholomew, whatever the gentleman's name was,
Followed you.
the Asian gentleman, he got killed off. Like, you killed all the interesting people off. I did like the fact that Kingo left because he stuck with his principles. I think that's a very interesting character choice. Cool. Also, I'll give it this praise. Makari, I'm sorry. I might have gotten that wrong either way.
I do Makari.
Her
Yeah.
scene of her, dope, super dope, and with Hephaestus, or what is his name? Phantos.
Yeah. Pathos.
Um, Him and Makari working together to stop Icarus, super dope scene.
Yeah.
But to
That whole
me,
end action scene. Yeah.
yeah, and what I've been told by people online is, how can you say it's dope when they have this dope scene? A scene does not make a movie. Like a scene, like
Definitely.
many movies can have a dope scene, right? Many movies do have a dope scene, but you got to make a movie for me to care about. So there's so much about it. Chloe Zhao's dope. Her movie Nomad Lands is incredible. I love that movie. Has nothing to do with Chloe Zhao. Has nothing to do with Phantos being gay. I think that's a really dumb thing to complain about. But yeah, other than that, it just doesn't work for me on a logical level. Because I'm seeing you do things that you can do, but you're saying that you can't do. Like, sir. But anyway, but yeah, that's my number 12.
My number 12 is Black Widow.
Okay.
Um, this is a movie that I do like. I enjoy. But it's just kind of like a too late kind of situation where
Feel
this
that.
character deserved to have more, and this movie felt like it was something that should have been released after Civil War and not post Endgame after the character died. So there was a lack of like investment in her journey in the film because we knew that she wasn't coming back. Like we knew that she's gone, and they didn't do enough to like fill in the gaps in her life. Because a lot of times what they do in prequel films when someone dies in the last film is that they'll fill in gaps that we didn't know about and it enriches the decisions that the character made before. But this movie didn't do that because it made it seem like she didn't have family in Endgame and Infinity War, and that's why she was so stuck with the Avengers. When in fact we find out that she does have family and she's in contact with them.
Mm,
So that kind of like didn't make sense with what the movie already established. But other than that aspect, I like the action. I thought Taskmaster was scary, like the Terminator in this film. The way she was chasing Elena and Natasha. I love the introduction of Elena. She was hilarious and just a great character as Florence Pugh. We got the introduction of Red Guardian in this film, and he was great as well. Even the mom play. I forgot what the actress who played the mom. She's a great actress. Rachel, I think her first name is Rachel. She was really good in the film. Obviously, the main villain guy was weird. A weird casting choice for that
oh
villain. I don't
yeah,
think he,
Draco.
Dracoff or whatever his name is, I don't think that guy fully grasped what he needed to do. Overall, it's a solid film. I just think it's a film that came out way too late for what the subject matter was in it.
Yeah. I'll talk about that when I get to it, but I'm just trying to put my poster on here. Here we go. All right. So my number 11 movie is dun, 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 drum roll, please. It is. I actually don't think you want a drum roll for this. It's the Marvels.
Oh
Um,
yeah, no, I don't.
I do not like this movie. I've only seen it once, to be fair. But when I did see it, it just felt rushed. It felt like like the pacing of it, everything felt like it was at such a neck break speed that we didn't get a chance to have those character moments that I would have loved to have seen. For example, the whole situation on that planet where Captain Marvel tells Kamala, "Hey, listen, we can't save everybody. We got to go." There was not enough of a resistance from Kamala, and I think knowing Kamala the way that we know Kamala, that definitely would have been a part of that scene and that conversation. And we skipped over. She's with two adult professional women with superpowers. And you have this teenage girl. This is a great time for some mentorship. But the movie was moving so fast that we didn't get to do it. I don't care about the singing planet. It's fun. There's weird planets everywhere. If you watch Star Trek and get mad at singing planet, I don't know what to tell you. Right? There's so
Yeah,
much weird stuff going on in the universe that a singing planet doesn't impact me whatsoever.
yeah, we need to have
Um,
those things in the MCU. It
yeah,
can't be all regular planets.
right. Yeah, exactly. Because all the planets just look the same, and I hate when universes do that. Where oh, the ones of this planet they can breathe here. It's like, well, okay. You know what I mean? So, but besides that, like I also call me a curmudgeon and what have you. But the cats at the end, like with Nick Fury and all that other stuff, I was kind of like, dog, like, th- who is this Nick Fury? Who is this man? He ain't taking over. He ain't got his like he ain't on his mission. He's not the Nick Fury that I'm used to whatsoever. He's not like the surly like listen because when Nick Fury when it comes down to it, Nick Fury like if business like if business is picking up, Nick Fury is picking up. Like it's about to go down. He coming out with the blicky. And this he was like I'll run around with the cats I guess. And it's like what's happening here? The
Sam Jack
villain's not
is tapping out, man.
yeah, the villain's not great. The fact that this
No.
happens after, Secret Wars also kind of makes it weird. Just because
Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion also kind of makes it weird because he left with his wife, um, in at the end of Secret Invasion, and it seemed like they were going up. We don't even need to talk about Secret Invasion,
Secret
but
Invasion's plot points does happen after the Marvels, though.
okay,
Yeah.
there's nothing in here. I don't know why I keep drinking. But yeah, so I just was not a huge fan of the Marvels. It felt like it was just going way too fast, breakneck speed. Um, Now, love all the actors in it, all of them, including Brie Larson. I thought they all did a good job with what they had. I just didn't think that they utilized them in the best way possible. Dope chest now. I need water. Dope post credit scene. And Yeah, dope post credit scene. Not a great villain. I thought that the fact that Captain Marvel restarted a sun with her own power was dope. Like there's not everything's bad, but for the most part, I walked out of this movie feeling like, I yeah. So that's it for me. What's your number 11?
My number 11 is your number 13, Thor: Love and Thunder.
Okay.
I had expectations going to this film that I knew that it was gonna be some silly gobbledygook, right? Because it's no secret. I've said it on live stream. I said it on other people's live streams. I'm not the hugest fan of Thor Ragnarok. I think it's one of those points in the MCU that the jokes started taking over the emotional moments, and I feel like so much of Ragnarok was making Thor dumb. And Taika saw that that movie made a lot of money, and people love it and say it's one of the best MCU films. So he came in here and quadrupled down on all the aspects of Ragnarok that I didn't like, and I knew that he was going to do it based on the premise and the whole '80s vibe and the trailers, and then the fact that they were doing two of Thor's best modern storylines in one film with Mighty Thor and Gore the God Butcher. I knew they were going to find a way to combine those stories well, so I went in going, I'm just going to laugh. I'm going to have a good time and laugh and hope that the story makes sense. And the story did make sense, and I did laugh a lot. The goats were hilarious. A lot of the stuff that Thor went through was really funny to me. Zeus's accent was horrendous and so funny. The whole Jesus joke was really, really great. But all that, this is one of the most visually stunning MCU films. The black and white world was amazing looking. I think you muted yourself.
I will agree with you on that.
Yeah, and there was just a couple scenes in here, even like when they finally got to the end in that all white area and Gore went to axe for that favor. That scene was stunning as well. There was This is one of the most visually pleasing looking Marvel films because a lot of the Marvel films kind of look kind of alike a little bit.
Mhm.
The action was really, really good. We got to see more of Valkyrie. I thought Natalie Portman's performance was kind of off a bit, and obviously there's the
It
floating head
was.
thing that happens. Huh?
Yeah.
No,
No, I
yeah,
was
yeah,
saying, yeah, it was.
yeah. Him giving the kids Thor powers, I thought that was hilarious. I just had fun with the movie because I knew that it was gonna be stupid, and I knew that they weren't gonna do justice to these both these stories that I love. So, but yeah, it's still not amazing though, even though I was
Yeah.
entertained.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Not a great situation. Okay, so next, my number 10 is Ant-Man and Waspidoro. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so for a lot of the reasons that you mentioned, but I'll also throw in this. For the majority of the first half of the movie, Ant-Man spends a lot of time doing everything to avoid being a superhero, and that kind of pissed
Mm-hmm.
me off. Like
Mm.
like the rebels are there. I know he's trying to find his daughter, but the rebels are there. They're fighting against Kang's tyranny and all the other good stuff. And he's just like, well, that's not my problem. That's really like, that's not my problem. But like, it's really like, I'm like, yo, dog, like, do something. Like, help these people, right? You in the
Yeah.
quantum realm, you're in their world. I thought the entire scene sequence with Bill Murray was one of the dumbest, most
Oh
useless
my
things
god.
I have ever. It made because it led to nothing. He died. It was over. What do we? And then he was promoted like he was a big part of this movie, and he was barely in the movie, right?
Yeah, I
So
forgot about that.
it just
Yeah.
wasn't even like that. Now, here's why it's number 10. That end fight scene, I'm sorry, y'all. It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Kang versus Ant-Man when they're getting big. Now the Modoc part, we don't need to talk about that because that was just awful. But when Ant-Man is fighting Kang and Kang is he's saying his name and when he like does the double beam thing and all that stuff, like I thought that was pretty dope. I was one of the people who didn't really have a problem with him getting taken out by ants. And the reason why is because I have read enough comic books and I've seen enough cartoons to know that villains get taken out in the silliest of ways sometimes. Like it
Yeah.
just it just is what it is. Like it just happens that
That's
way.
true.
And what is Ant-Man supposed to beat him with other than ants? I mean, he could
His
step
big
on
thing.
them, but then you're like, oh, so he just died under like there's no satisfying way for Kang to be killed by Ant Man. But I also like one of the things I do give the movie credit for is the fight scene after that fight scene is when Kang and Scott are fist fighting. Kang is whooping his ass. At no point is Ant Man
Whooping his
winning
ass.
that fight, right? So they kept it like, hey, you can't beat him, right? So I thought that that part was cool. So I did think that there were some good aspects to this movie. So yeah, I do think that there was good aspects to this movie. I liked it. I just did not love it, and some of the parts that were not as great really took it down. That first half of the movie with Cassie just running off and doing things, him trying to find Cassie and trying not everything in his power, not to teach Cassie how to be a superhero, was just
Yeah.
it just went against everything I knew Scott to be. Like, so it
Yeah.
just didn't. Like, he's the guy who's like, I'm an Avenger. Like, he just spent his entire time talking about how he's an Avenger, and I know he lost himself because, like, he started writing that book and all that good stuff. And we don't need to keep going through it because we got a lot of time left. But, yeah, yeah. All right. So, what is your number 10?
So, to probably the surprise of a lot of people, Deadpool and Wolverine.
How dare? No, I'm joking.
Deadpool Wolverine is a film that in the theater I was like, oh my god, the cameos, oh my god, the jokes, oh my god, the references, oh my god, Wolverine on the cross, and the bye 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 dance, all this stuff. And I'll even give it credit. It also has a not stereotypical ending to an MCU film,
Mm-hmm.
which is cool. But after the hype of seeing all that went down, and then thinking about the plot and the characters and everything that happened, once you remove the nostalgia glasses of oh my god, we got to see all these characters come back, and I just start thinking about the actual movie, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. Like I don't think it's gonna be super rewatchable for me. I don't think I'm gonna laugh at the same things I laughed before. I think the bye dance probably I'll still laugh at, but like a lot of the other jokes, are just gonna fall flat for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the emotional moment between Wolverine where he's talking down on Deadpool, that's always gonna hit. But I think the
That's a great
overall
scene.
package of the yeah, it's a fantastic scene, well acted. I think the overall plot and the way to use the characters and everything that happened, having this badass villain who was kind of regulated to being in the corner. I just thought it was kind of a letdown in the story department. So it's not something
You
I'm
talking
gonna
about
like.
what's her name?
Hmm?
I say you're talking about what's her name?
Cassandra Nova, yeah,
Cassandra Nova. Yeah, yeah. She
yeah.
was
Bye Bye
kind of
Dance
like
is like a,
yeah, she was
they
kind of
they
regulated to being
in the corner.
mm,
Like they made her so strong that there
that
was
they
no way
couldn't
for
do
them to
anything
handle
with
her.
her. Yeah.
Couldn't do anything with her. So, and then like they used the TVA, but they didn't use the TVA from the show. So it was like, so why we even have them here? So yeah, a
Yeah,
lot of that was a little disappointing. It was like, oh yeah, we're gonna use the TVA, but we don't think people watch the Loki show, so we're not gonna use the ones from the Loki show.
cost my girl Wumi Masako a check. The girl want to be done.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. No, I'm with you. I'll talk about it more when I get to it. But yeah, I'm totally with you on that. All right, so my number nine is actually Captain America: Brave New World. Um, Captain America: Brave New World is a Frankenstein of a movie, and you can tell it all the way through. The movie is like so. Here's what I want to say: people was out here on the internet talking about this is the worst Marvel movie ever made. Shut your mouth, because it's not. It's just not. There are so many movies. We're just looking at Phase 4 and 5. There are several other movies in the first three phases that are worse than that movie. And it's not even like that bad of a film, but it's also not really good. And I was talking to Zach about this before we got on stream. But my biggest issue with the film is that it doesn't really have anything to do with Sam Wilson, right? So, and what I mean by that is I know Isaiah Bradley gets sent to jail, but when you really think about it, that was accidental. No one put Isaiah Bradley in jail because they were trying to get after him or they were trying to get after Sam. It was the leader just like, oh no, I'm trying to kill Ross. I'm trying to get back at Ross. You guys just happened to be there, right? And I always felt like, yo, so this story's not really Sam centric. It's not about Sam. It's about the Hulk's residual issues with other people just accidentally impacting Sam Wilson. Because it could have been anybody. If Isaiah Bradley never goes to that party, this never happens with Sam, right? So it's like it has nothing to do with Sam, right? And I think it shortchanges Sam because the first three Captain America movies with Chris Evans are all about Steve Rogers. First Avenger, how he became Captain America. Winter Soldier, meeting back up with Bucky. It's all about him, right? Fighting Hydra. His villains were from his history, from where he came from. Um, even the I forget what the Zola, Arnim Zola
Zemo.
in the base. I don't
Oh
think
no,
Zemo was in
Zola,
there.
Zola, yeah,
Yeah,
from the
Zola,
machine, yeah.
like trying to kill him from his mind being uploaded into a computer. All of this is about Captain America: Civil War, trying to save Bucky after he was framed for killing what's his name. But Zemo was going after the Avengers. They were going after Cap. They were going after him, right? And he used Bucky to do that, right? So it's still all about him. And at the end of the day, what happens? He loses his friendship with Tony, right? So all of it, his entire trilogy, is about Steve. This movie ain't even about Sam. It's about Sam having to deal with somebody else's mess. So I just kind of felt like it got shortchanged. We should have just done something that had to do with Sam, that came from Sam's history. Because you basically have to almost make it up, or just take something from the comics. Why are you using the Hulk residual Hulk stuff? He has his own run. It's right here. It's so much in here, and then he has other runs
Still
besides
going
this.
on.
This is
Yeah,
just
it's still
volume
going on.
one. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So take stuff from there. So yeah, that's my issue with Captain America, uh, Brave New World. Um, but yeah, other than those complaints, I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the action of the movie. The action was really good, actually, especially when Sam was aerial. Giancarlo Esposito, I was like, so he just shooting guns at you, bro? This what we doing? Um, so yeah, so that's it. That's me on that one. It's just me, Oos.
Day one ish.
Yep.
My next up is the Marvels. I had a great time with this film. I'm a big fan of Kamala Khan. Kamala Khan, and then Mon Vellani's portrayal of her. I really like Monica Rambeau from WandaVision, and I like Captain Marvel movie. I'm more of a fan of that movie than most people, so I was excited to see all three of these characters to meet up with each other because I'm a fan of their interactions in the comics, and I think it has some of the most innovative action sequences in gimmicks that the MCU's had, right? Like I think this was like the biggest risk that they had, and obviously it failed because they took two TV characters, put them in a movie with another character that maybe is not so favorable, and did something kind of funky and weird with them. Unfortunately, because the villain's not super strong, it kind of holds the movie back a little bit. I think if the villain was actually really, really strong, and it's not even the actress's fault, it was just the writing of the character, I think the movie would be seen a lot differently. I had so much fun with this movie, though. I agree with Kenny that I remember saying this in my review. This movie moves too fast. It's the shortest movie in the MCU, and I think that if this movie was the length that I think all MCU movies should be, 2 hours and 20 minutes, I think they would have got a chance to breathe out a lot of those things that Kenny was talking about earlier when he was talking about the film. Kamala reacting to Carol not being the person that she thought she was. Even though they had a little moment
Mm,
where they actually did talk about that, they could have went deeper into it.
yep.
And even like the action sequences could have been done even more. But even with all those faults, I had so much fun. I love the cat moment. I love the last fighting scene. I love them switching with each other. I really enjoyed the jokes. I think visually the movie did look good, especially when they were on the Skrull planet when they were doing that bargain. That when everything started to get sucked up by that thing, I thought that was really cool. I love seeing Captain Marvel being seen from someone else's point of view and how she looks like this. Like if you didn't know Captain Marvel, she
Yeah.
seemed like a villain. I thought that was
Hmm.
dope. Her restarting the sun, Monica's sacrifice. There was a lot of aspects of this movie that I absolutely loved, and I had a great time.
Word. I get with that. Um, I put yours up. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
So I'm having an issue here where space on this line is a little weird. Um, my number eight is like all the way over. So let me just do this real quick. Make some space because guys, I'm
Should have
actually
they
making
made
this.
the Marvels? Definitely not. But did I enjoy it? Absolutely. I don't know if they'll say if they should have made the Marvels. I think they should have just set the Marvels up for more success.
Yeah.
Whether that is Brigand and Blue Marvel on the team as well. So there was some male
Hmm?
representation that was positive, including the Skrulls and the Kree into the story more. Um, yeah, just little things that they could have done to really make the movie pop for people. But like I said, I had a good time, and also it set up some things for the MCU as part of the multiverse saga.
Yep.
One of the
We
movies
got
that actually
Beast
has some
right in.
multiverse stuff. Yep. I wanted to while you're doing that. He said the movie didn't set Anthony Mackie up for success. I don't agree with that necessarily. I think a lot of people, even people who don't like the movie overall, can say that they feel like it set up Anthony Mackie as someone that you could feel like can lead, and really establish what his character is going to be moving forward. This kind of character that leads with empathy and sympathy and kind of his therapy background, and the way he calmed down Red Hulk and stuff like that, and show that he could keep up with supervillains. I think they did a really good job of making him like, okay, maybe I didn't like this particular movie that he was in, but I like the character himself.
Which is funny that you say that because that's how I feel about the Eternals. Like I would love to see these characters again. It's just the movie they were in I did not enjoy.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to deal with a spacing issue here. That's not going to help. Um, so yeah, we'll just guys, we're just going to put some space here and then just act like we got some sense. All right. So yeah, it's just gonna have to be smaller. And you, sir, gonna have to be smaller as well. Sorry, this is terrible. Are we podcasting? Is that what we're doing? We podcasters?
Live streaming,
We
podcasters,
live?
both. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, all the new kids are doing it. So yeah, my number eight is actually Deadpool and the Wolverine. This movie is as exactly as Zach explained it. It's a good, fun time, and then after that, there ain't much to talk about. Um, and I know like you have that emotional scene with Deadpool and Wolverine in the car, and they have that great fight scene. And there's a lot of great individual scenes. This movie suffers from rewatchability. Like you can rewatch it. Obviously, you can press play on it. But all the big pop moments that happen, as soon as you see it, as soon as I see it the first time, I'll speak for myself. The next time I see it, it's like, oh yeah, yeah, that's right. There was that big surprise. Oh, when Blade comes walking around the corner, it loses its luster. What I will give it credit for though is usually when you see like cameos like that, sometimes the characters just kind of like go away. They were in the rest of the
Mm,
movie. You know what I
they
mean?
are.
So
Yep.
they were there. They had a huge impact on the rest of the movie. So I really did enjoy that. I don't know what happened to them after after they left. I feel like they all died. That was what was implied. And then what you mentioned with Cassandra Nova, they made her so powerful that they couldn't use her, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because in no world should any of them like have done anything to him. Like I
Yeah.
heard recently people talk about Thunderbolts and Captain America: Brave New World, like solving the issue with the power of friendship or talk no jutsu, right?
Yeah.
Deadpool and Wolverine is the same thing. They do the same thing, Deadpool and Wolverine. They're like, hey,
Yeah.
your brother would love if you didn't kill us. Really?
Yep.
I won't kill you guys. And that's it. That's the end of the game. Like she comes back
Yeah.
and then I think she kills Paradox and then she blows up. I don't remember. I really don't.
She definitely does
But
blow up. She doesn't kill Paradox.
yeah.
He gets arrested.
Oh right. I thought she put his fingers through his skull, which was a great effect, by the way.
Great effect. Oh my god, so
Yeah.
good.
So with that being said, yeah, this movie it's fun the first time, and I like the Deadpoolness of it. Oh, that's what it was. It took the heart that was in the first two Deadpool movies and completely removed it. I don't believe that what was Vanessa? It wasn't Vanessa. It was I forget what his girl's
His
name
girlfriend
was.
there? Vanessa,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was like, no, Kingpin's Vanessa, but no,
That's
like
why they had
it
that
took
meme of
Vanessa.
Kingpin punching Deadpool. Why did
Oh,
you
that's
say that
funny.
name?
So yeah, so with Vanessa, after all the stuff that she's been through, she told him either join the Avengers or we're breaking up.
Yeah, that didn't
That
make any
Vanessa,
sense to me.
the Vanessa that we
No.
spent two movies with, I don't think that character's doing that. Like that doesn't make any
No.
sense, right? So I just don't. I don't like go out and make something of yourself. Vanessa said that. That doesn't make
Didn't
any
make any
sense.
sense.
Neither
No.
one of them like subscribe to the world's like, hey, go to a job and go home kind of thing. So what are we talking about here?
No.
So you remove
Yeah,
Vanessa, you remove
I
Blind
agree.
Owl, you remove Negasonic Teenage Warrior, you remove Colossus, you remove all the characters that he built
All
relationships
his
with,
supporting cast. Yeah.
right? And have you ever noticed that like third movies in a trilogy do this often? Like they remove all the characters that we had met in the first two, and then they just kind of leave them with like Kung Fu Panda 4 just did that. They removed all of the characters that he spent the first three movies with, and then sat him with a new character. And the whole time, I'm like, where are those other characters that he had relationships with? The
Yeah.
Furious Five, they were gone from the movie. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And for no good reason. It's not like they couldn't cast them. They're cartoons. They're animated, right? So yeah, they took all the heart out of it and just placed more Wolverine. There's a bunch of dope stuff in this movie, but not enough for me to think that this is the greatest movie. Which
Yeah.
this is why I
And
kind of flip flop
also,
on.
they
Mhm.
overhyped this movie a lot. They said that this was
They,
gonna be like an end game. I remember it leading up end game level, and this is such a smaller story
yeah,
than anticipated. Is not
yeah.
that game changing at
It
all
doesn't
to me.
impact the rest of the MCU at all. The rest of the
No.
MCU can move on, not knowing that these people ever existed, and they will be totally fine.
Yep.
So, yeah. But this is why I kind of flip flop between Cap and Deadpool and Wolverine. Like I kind of flip flop between the two, which one I like more.
Mm.
But I kind of feel like Deadpool and Wolverine has more entertaining moments.
Yeah. And just see Deadpool will be in the bottom half of your both because I thought I was in the minority about not loving it as much as others. No, you're not.
No, you're not. Um,
Oh, Channing Tatum is apparently okay. Yeah, there's a
What
scene
happened?
that they
What happened to
released.
him?
No. Saying Gambit. He's saying his Gambit is okay.
Oh, right, right,
Ish.
right, 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 right.
Yeah, he got pulled through a portal, and obviously he's in Doomsday. It was a lot of fun
Got
for
you.
sure, but I really want. I haven't really wanted to revisit even as an X Men fan. Me too. I haven't
I feel
wanted
that.
to.
I saw it twice, and then I don't, I don't really feel like I can and need to see it again. Now I'm going to do a rewatch of all the MCU films after Fantastic Four, or maybe before Fantastic Four. I still haven't decided yet, and I'm going to hit all the movies I like, and I'm going to just watch it in the release order. Um, so for you, Zach, what is your number 8?
My number 8 is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Okay.
This had the potential to be one of the best MCU movies of all time. The VFX were fantastic. The little horror aspects that it had. Yes, it's baby horror. If you're a horror fan, this shit is not scary at all. But it's cool to see that them attempt that in the MCU. Wanda was such a great villain, one of the best villains in the MCU to me. And from a visual standpoint, creative standpoint, it had all there. Having the Illuminati shown, what Wanda did to them was insane to see on screen. Um, but you see, I'm talking a lot about
Yeah, that
Wanda,
was
Wanda,
crazy.
Wanda, 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 Wanda,
Yeah.
Wanda, because Doctor Strange has no character arc in this movie. They set him up as this person who's like, I'm sad because the love of my life is marrying somebody else. And
Hmm.
then he sees the love of his life in the multiverse, and then he's like, I love you in every universe. And then the movie ends, and he's not different from how he started.
I disagree.
Emotionally, physically, yes.
No. I disagree
Why do you
because
disagree?
what was I disagree because what was his girlfriend's name? Oh, I'm forgetting all the girlfriend's name. Was it
Rachel?
Karen? Rachel. Rachel.
No, that's the
So,
actress name.
mhm. I feel like it was
I don't know
Karen.
what her. Maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, so Karen, let's just say that. Karen. Oh, let me also upload your John. So Karen says you always feel like you're always the one who has to be holding the knife, right? And that was a reason why they broke up. And by the end of the movie, he has to let go of control and let um, America Chavez go and like take care of or defeat what's her face, Scarlet Witch. So he has to like let go so that she can do it because he always had to be in control of everything, which is why their relationship never worked out, right? So he
Christine.
Christine,
Thank
Christine.
you,
Now I
Imran.
hear it in
First
my
of all,
head.
welcome to the live stream, Imran Plus. Appreciate you.
What's up, Aaron?
And thank you.
Yeah, Christine. Now I hear him in my head. So yeah, like that was the character arc of him having to let go of control.
I definitely would like to see it in like a relationship though, because I feel like that's in relation to his how he treats his spouses. Because we've seen him like kind of let go before, but when it comes to action aspects, but well, you're right though, because she does say that, and then he does let America, because at the point he didn't want America Chavez to do anything, so
Right.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, still a really really fun movie.
It is.
All the cameos are dope, and the way they used it, I think the cameos are used better in this than in Deadpool Wolverine because
Hmm.
there's like they die and stuff like that, and it's like even after the pop of oh my god, John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, it's the fact of what happens after when they get into the action that's really really cool.
Yeah, I agree with that notion. 1 second. Why is it spacing weird on my side and not your side? It's very weird. Anyway, yeah, cool. So my number seven, siete, if you will, if you'll indulge me, is Black Widow.
Okay.
I really like this movie. I like this movie a lot, actually. I thought that one of the better things that this movie did was give us more depth for Natasha. It does a few things well. It gives us more depth for Natasha. It introduces two new characters who we really enjoy now in Red Guardian and Yelena, who's now kind of like almost like a co-lead with this new universe, right? Or this new era, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to their mom, and you saw what happened with Taskmaster, but that's not this movie's fault.
Yeah.
In a roundabout way, it could be seen that way, but it's not.
Yeah.
Um, I like what they did with like explaining the red room. All the fights with them and the widows who are going after them was really good. Yelena and Natasha's relationship was really good. What I loved about that relationship is how different they were. When one of the funnier scenes in the movie is when Yelena is getting on her about her superhero landing
The
pose.
posing.
Yeah, she's
You're
such a
such a
poser.
poser.
Yeah. The prison escape scene when they go to pick up Alexei, that was really good.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that. And then they had like a lot of like all the family stuff when mom, dad, and Alexei, oh, that is mom, dad, Yelena, and Natasha are together and they're having these like family squabble. These grown adults are having this family squabble. I thought all of that went really well as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, Dreykov
Florence
wasn't
Pugh's
like
scene of like, this was real to me. Great, great stuff.
great stuff. And that like so that ending sequence, like the third act ending sequence, I thought was dope. I thought they did a really good job with that. Dreykov, your nose, break it. You know what I mean? That's it. Cool. Like it was fine. Like that part was fine. But them having to fight Taskmaster, them fighting as they're falling through the sky was incredible. I really enjoyed that. Plausible. We're in Marvel. This is a
That was a little
comic
over
book
the
movie.
top for me.
Plausible. Plausibility is not on the table today, right? So, but yeah, she was skating down the falling skyscraper in the sky thing, and I thought it was cool. Um, but yeah, but overall, I really enjoyed the movie. I had a really good time with it. And I thought it just so. Here's the thing: I hate when it came out, but on my rewatch, I'm gonna watch it right after Civil War because that's when it takes place, and it'll
Mm,
feel natural right after Civil War. So I'm looking forward to doing that. But yeah, I enjoyed Black Widow quite a bit.
nice. Yeah, the action in that movie is really like I really loved when Taskmaster's chasing them. And
Yeah.
one of my favorite scenes is when they're going down the escalator. He throws a shield and almost knocks their heads off.
Hmm.
That shit was fire.
I do like the way
Uh,
Taskmaster did copy people's
yeah,
abilities. I thought all that went really well, and it was cool kind
yeah,
of seeing. Oh, he's doing the Black Panther thing. Like it was really cool
yeah.
to see that.
He also studied them too. That was really cool. Because usually, I think in the
Hmm.
comics and the shows, he is when he meets up with you, he copies you. But this one was like studying people from the get go,
Yeah,
so he already knew.
he watches you fight for a little bit, and then he got you.
Yeah. Captain America: Brave New World's up next for me.
Okay.
I really, really enjoyed this film, despite the issues I had with the VFX towards the end. I think for most of the part, the VFX is really good, but the ending part is where it gets wonky, especially the background. I think because Red Hulk looked amazing, but the
Yeah.
background wasn't that great. But I really love. I get what you're saying about like this could have been a more personal story, even though I feel like it still was a little bit, but it could be even more personal if they pulled from Sam's rogues gallery and centered on his villains. And it seemed like he had like a personal thing with Giancarlo Esposito that could have worked out. But I really like that they did a superhero tale of a superhero kind of just dealing with bad stuff that's going on in the world. I every MCU film they do that kind of thing where they tie it into the person's personal past, and I like that they took the chance to do something that was a little looser, and for Sam to come in and see the political landscape because the Captain America movies are supposed to be political, and trying to figure out where he fits in it because that's a lot of Sam's story in the comics, and it's going to be a lot of his story within the MCU. It's like, where do I fit in here? Do they respect me? I'm gonna make them respect me, and I deserve this seat at the table, even when I doubt myself. I thought the
Hmm.
movie was funny at certain points. Some of the best action sequences in the MCU, especially that one where the two countries are about to come together and fight each other, and him and Falcon, the new Falcon, are trying to stop these planes from blowing each other up. Danny
Hmm.
Ramirez as
He was
Joaquin
good.
Torres Great addition into the MCU. I forgot where I've seen him before, but I was excited when he got casted as the character, and I'm excited to see if he gets his mutation later
I
on
am
in the
too.
MCU.
I'm not sure if he
Because
will,
they
but
also don't give Sam his powers, so I don't know if they're gonna give him his powers. Because people always forget in the comic Sam does have powers. Um, and I mean, I love the when he came down with the G force and he was like wait for it and knocked everyone over. All the fight scenes with him using his tech plus the shield. I just and then his when that conversation he had with General Ross about like his relationship with his daughter and everything like that. I thought that was really really strong. And then him calming down Red Hulk as well. I like that. He kept up with him a little bit, but obviously after a while, it's like it's a Hulk. You're not
yeah,
gonna be fist
yeah,
fighting, homie.
right.
Not for too long. So I really really enjoyed this film. I think it set up Sam as someone that can lead. It set up someone that people could see like okay, this is somebody that I would want to be my Captain America. So, like some of the doubters in within the MCU, not in like real life, and just the conversation him and Danny had or Joaquin had at the end. He's like, I'm glad that you're Captain America because before it felt like I couldn't be a hero because Steve Rogers is a super soldier, but you, who's a regular person doing it, it inspires us, and I
Right.
thought that was really important.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. What am I doing? All right. Yeah. So I agree with you, 100%. Well, not 100%. Well, no, I agree with everything you said. But then my detractions are still there.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 6, Mr. Kennedy. I was watching a promo earlier um, of Kennedy and John Cena, and John Cena cooked him as he's one to do. So my number 6 is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I quite enjoy this movie. I don't think it's the best. I like so there's certain things about this movie I don't. I do not like the guitar riffs. I know that's a weird thing to say, but like the the Sam Raimi of it sometimes gets a little too much into it. Like
Yeah.
when we're in the beginning and he's in the temple and they're fighting against Wanda, and something happens and he looks over and there's a guitar riff. I'm like, okay, what the hell's happening? Like it just seems random. Like I'm just doing like rock star shit, right? It just seems like out of us. But that's about it. Like the Sam Raimiisms only kind of happen in the beginning of the movie, and then it kind of calms down towards the end. But when Wanda comes through that broken mirror and she crawls out like the demon she is, I don't know if she's a demon. I'm sorry, I don't mean to call you a demon. Like it was like creepy as hell. Like I was locked in from there when she showed up to the temple and was standing out there. It was like, hey, oh, and when she turned to do because his mind was weak, yo, there's so much good stuff in this movie.
Yeah.
That when she comes through the joint because when she goes to the house of the woman whose kids she's trying to take,
Yeah.
and Wanda there kind of recognizes it, and she's like in the mirror and she's in the TV and she's in this other. I'm like, yo, this is creepy as hell. Like they did a really good
Yeah.
job of making Wanda scary as hell. And
Yeah.
all that stuff was really good. I even like I know a lot of people don't like the musical note fight. I quite
I
enjoyed
liked
it.
it. I
Yeah,
liked it.
I was in for that. I like them jumping between the worlds. I really wish they didn't put I really wish they didn't put Professor X in the trailer because I would have like
Yeah.
lost my mind because it never crossed my
Yeah.
mind that he would be in it. Um, I am glad that they didn't put John Krasinski in the trailer because I would have been pissed. But like all of that, all those surprises were really dope. She killed those people, by the way. I know we talk a lot about
Viciously.
like heroes and stuff like that. And like sometimes they do bad things. She killed those people. Like she killed all.
Yeah.
She said, "Does your children have their mother? Cool, because I'm about to kill you, ma'am.
Crazy.
What we doing?
And
What
then
we
she
out
just
here for?"
left. Like,
And then she dipped. Yeah, she
and then they're
shredded
gonna
that
be like, "Who
man.
did this? Wanda did this," and the innocent Wanda is the one that's gonna get arrested.
Right. And the crazy part is like I can see. I don't think they're going to do this, but I can see that universe coming after Wanda because
Mm.
they killed their entire the entire Illuminati, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really like this movie. There's not a lot I don't like about it. Um, yeah, it's just really the beginning, or the some of the Sam Raimiisms in the beginning.
Yeah, like that
Um,
silly scene where they're running away from Wanda and they're looking at the door and it keeps looking at the door and then she just pops out of nowhere. I was like, "What, Sam?
What do
What are you
we?
doing?"
Yeah, yeah. So they let them overcook a little bit, but I did like it. Here's my thing. Now they don't. So I like this movie, but to me, I do have an issue with them rehashing all the things that Wanda just went through and just learned. It's the dark hold. I don't care. Don't use it then. If you're just going to have her redo everything she just did. We just went through this whole season to get her back on track of being a good guy, and then the next time we see her, she's wilding out. It felt like a
Yeah,
regression of the character.
and then
And
she
what
started
I would have,
retreading the same things from WandaVision.
yeah, it was like, did we not watch the previous movie? Now, here's what I do like, or this is my
The
cat.
cat,
This is my cat. Yeah, here
Scarface,
doing stuff. Man,
Scarface. I mean Two Face,
Two Face.
Harvey Dent.
Um, so what I would have liked to have seen is for Doctor Strange and Wanda and Wong to team up to try to protect America Chavez, who I didn't mention, who's a really great character,
Yeah,
um, from Nightmare, from some
yeah,
other outside entity. Make an entity so powerful, and you have one in Nightmare, that
yeah,
Wanda and Doctor Strange and Wong have to fight together to try to save this little girl, not little girl, this woman, and stuff like that. Because that was dope. That would have been dope to me. You have the opportunity to do a team up movie, but then you do this. However, comma, we did get to see how scary Wanda can get, right?
yeah,
So
man.
that's the benefit of that. Now, is she dead? They said she was. Do I think she got crushed by a stone? Seems a little crazy to me.
Yeah,
And do we see a body? We know the rules, right? So
no body,
she'll be
no
back.
death.
I wouldn't be surprised if she showed up and she was sitting at the right hand of doom.
I
In
feel it's gonna happen.
Yeah. So that's going to be a scary situation. So yeah, looks like we got some comments. I don't know.
Before we move on, we got a super chat from
Thank
Zach
you for the
Mill.
super
Talks movies.
chat.
Thank you. Appreciate you, man. You have a good night as well.
Thank
Everybody
you,
check
sir.
out Zach's channel. He's doing a bunch of ranking videos of different
Yeah,
franchises. He's killing them.
yeah, yeah. Also want to shout out to Kevin Davis.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining the stream. Appreciate you having you here. Do you think DC Superman will struggle at the box office? I want to say no way, no how, because it's Superman. But we live in a weird world. But I don't think it's Superman. And they have a dog. Like Crypto is going to get a lot of people in the theater. But I don't think it'll struggle at the box office. It'll struggle if it gets bad reviews beforehand.
Yeah.
If the
With the
if
combination of Jurassic World Rebirth coming a week before or two
and then
weeks before,
Fantastic Four.
a week or 2 weeks. I forgot what the time range is. I know they're all in the same month.
I think
Um,
Superman comes out last.
no, it's in the middle. It's
Oh,
sandwiched
is
between
it?
both films. Yeah,
Yeah, that's not good.
yeah. So if it gets bad reviews, because I think what it is, I think it's Jurassic World Rebirth. Then it's the Smurfs musical, which can be big. Let's not tone
Yeah,
that down.
the kids love
And
the
I know what you
Smurfs.
did last summer. Both coming out
Yep. Mm,
right before that. Horror
yeah.
movies will do good. And then Superman gets like bad reviews. Those three movies can eat its lunch. And then it's like, oh well, I'll save my money to go watch Fantastic Four the next week.
Why do studios act like August doesn't exist? Just move into that next month. Just move into that next month.
I don't even know what's coming out in August this year. That
Yeah,
why Superman can't move.
because typically is nothing because last year was Borderlands. Oh, and Alien Romulus. So that did
Okay,
happen in August. Yeah,
that
so
was fire.
that kind of synced it. But yeah. Let's see. Oh, you started this because we're gonna come back to it.
Yeah.
Um, then I've done that. Civil War to Black Widow, Infinity War. Yeah, yeah, I'm down for that. I cannot wait to get into that. Good point. What if that universe's Wanda is in the next Avengers movies and then joins our universe?
That's possible. That's
Boy,
possible.
yeah. Good point.
I think you said it again.
Okay. Yeah. Love Doctor Strange too. Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. It like so Zach. Let me ask you this: do you ever find yourself being like, "This is a good movie, but it's not the movie I wanted,"
Yeah.
or not even like so? And that's kind of what I'm saying about. That's kind of what I'm saying about Cap 4 and WandaVision. Like this is like Cap 4 is a solid movie. Doctor Strange is a good movie, but we had opportunities to do something a little better than this.
I have a hot take.
Go
I
for
feel
it.
like 90% of the MCU is like that.
Mm,
There's a lot of movies that they do where I'm like, this is good. I like this. This is might
yeah.
even be great, but I wish you did something else that
Hmm.
could have been like all time. Like they don't have a lot of all timer movies in the MCU. When you think about 36 films, I think they have what Iron Man one, Avengers one, Winter Soldier, Civil War,
Yep.
Black Panther,
Yep.
both Infinity War Endgame,
Yep.
No Way Home. So
Yep.
like after
I'm
that,
I'm gonna add to my personal of that.
yeah.
I'm gonna add Shang-Chi, and I'm gonna
Well, yeah,
add
that's a good one.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is when I'm like, this is incredible.
I
And
think maybe
mainly,
Volume One would add in there too
oh
as
yeah,
like
we're
an
about to
all
talk
timer.
about
One of them.
Guardians at some point. Yeah.
But yeah,
But yeah, so I'm with you. I feel like their top 10 to 12 is really strong, right? And so some of the rest of them are really strong too. But if you're talking about all timers, I think they have a strong all timer kind of top 10. And then it gets really good. And then it's like good. And then it's solid. And then it's like, okay, what we doing? And there's here's the thing about the MCU. There's so much good to great that it way outweighs the bad. Like it's like
1,000.
you talking about 36 movies. I think out of 36 movies, the movies I really don't like, and I'm just looking at my list because I have it up. 36 movies. The movies I really don't like start at 29
Yeah,
out of 36.
yeah.
You know
I
what I
don't think I
mean?
have
Like,
any movies that I just don't like. Like even the ones that I
right.
like Ant Man and the Wasp, both of them. There's still moments in those movies that I enjoy. So it's just
Yeah.
like, it's whatever.
Yeah. I got Corey Floyd. Um, Corey
So,
from Amaran
Marion.
Media. It's not the Thunderbolts we wanted, but it's the one we deserve. Yeah, yo, Corey Floyd, he's a dope dude. He's out of Philly as well. Does a lot of media stuff. There's a lot of nerd stuff around here. I met him at what is the name of that festival? Otaku Fest. Um,
Oh, nice.
ma'am. So I don't know if you heard my cat, but she's wild. And yeah, just hit it off. We had a really good time. Do you hear my cat? She's out here wild.
No,
Okay, good. Um, give me one second. I think she wants to be let out
gotcha.
of the office.
Panther 2, ugh. I like Panther 2, but I know people don't. Um, there is lacklusters and in comparison weak ones, but there's not an overall trash movies in the MCU. I agree. Black Widow MN2 is close to weak as F in comparison.
Mm,
It's fair. He says, hope to see you at Fan Expo.
I don't know anything about that, to be honest with you. So I need some more information on that. Oh, cool. Yeah. So let's keep it going because we'll be here all night.
Yeah.
We got
Uh,
5 left or something like that.
yeah,
You are
so it's
next.
me
What
next,
you got?
right? Yeah,
Yep.
Thunderbolts. One of the more recent MCU
Oh,
films. Yeah, I love this movie. We talked about it extensively already in the beginning of this stream, so I'm not gonna like go over it again. I have a review on my channel as well that
Hmm.
you can check out. But
Yep.
yeah, it's a great MCU film, and it's a solid look at depression, loneliness, and what it feels like trying to find community. And I think this movie is really, really dope. New Avengers, baby.
Yep. Yeah. So my number five. Oh wait, let me put yours up real quick because you went through that really fast, man. You didn't give me no time.
My bad. Yeah, I was like, we talked about it for like hours. You know what I
I
mean?
know. I know.
Let
My
me see what
bad.
these people are saying. The only two movies I want to see in August are Naked Gun remake, and Nobody Two. Yeah, I'll probably check out both of those.
Yeah, I want to see Naked Gun remake as well. I also want to like watch the
Wait,
originals
isn't
too.
it
Before
not? It's not a remake though, right? It's just one of those legacy sequels.
I don't know because Liam Neeson's is in it. I know his name is Liam Neeson, but Liam Neeson's is in it. So I think it's like a remake. I don't know. I have no idea.
Because they show
Um.
the characters from the original Naked Gun.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, on the wall in the trailer.
I
And they
didn't catch
even
that.
make a joke about OJ Simpson and everything. Yeah, so I think it's a
OJ
legacy
did
sequel.
it.
Corey said, I like Panther 2 more than Panther 1. Wow. A lot of people, I haven't heard that before.
Speaking of which, my number five is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
It's a perfect
Um.
segue.
Yep. I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
Um. So sorry. One second. This is another one that is like, do I wish I would have did something different? Yeah. Did I enjoy it? Also, yeah. So that is sorry, I'm trying to download this thing. But yeah, so essentially like Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I think it's an unfortunate set of circumstances uh, where they are that you're asking a cast of people who had just lost one of their best friends to continue a movie with someone that in the same role. Now, what I would have done differently is send T'Challa off to space because there is an intergalactic kingdom of Wakanda. That's a very easy thing
Hmm.
to do. He went off to space, and next time we see him, he was transfigured. He went through the multiverse. You guys knew you were doing the multiverse saga. He came back a little different, right? And then we'll just recast him. But having them recast in the very next movie that was already scheduled to do because people are like, oh, well, you should have just waited. These niggas got bills, they got contracts, they have all
Yeah,
this stuff.
stockholders that they promised these
Stockholders
films to.
after Wakanda Forever, Ryan Coogler spent the next 4 years on Sinners, right? You can't be like, hey, can you push back Sinners? So we
Mm,
going because we going. Why don't you do Sinners now and just move it? That's not how life works, man. It's just not how it goes.
no.
So they felt that they had to put a movie out, and they did. Now, do I like the movie? Yeah, I like. It's obviously it's my number. Oh, I didn't put it up here. Did I not put this up here? Did I not put this up here? I don't think I put it up there. Um. Anyway, so I'm downloading it again. But yeah, I really like this film. I love what they did with Namor. Namor is an incredible character in this film.
Yeah.
I thought they did such a good job
I think they elevated
translating
him.
him to the screen. Yeah, they elevated him. They gave him a kuku kan, the feather serpent god.
I love that.
Like he was so dope, man. I love the way that they didn't shy away from his wing ankle situation. Like I feel like in the
Yeah. And they
past we
made it
would have
cool.
they made it cool because the way he was flying was crazy.
That shit was
Um,
fire.
yeah, that was what just happened. An error occurred. Don't you tell me that.
I love
Um,
that he's gonna be in Doomsday too.
yeah, yeah. No, Tena Huerta did a great job at that. Tyler Khan is cool. I know people are like, hey, you should have just called it Atlantis. I kind of liked it as something different, called something
Yeah.
different because it also gives it its own culture in that sense. I thought
I don't want to
everything they
interrupt
did.
you,
Yeah.
but what you said about the difference thing, I also think that Namor's always played second fiddle to Aquaman, and giving him this culture and a different place he's
Yep.
from will finally get to, I think will make it out because he's not it's not like, oh, he's just the lesser
Yeah.
version of Aquaman. He's different.
Hmm. And the costume design for him is dope. Like all the adornments and yo, when he
Yeah.
came down to his throne in that whale's mouth, yo,
Oh my god.
looked incredible. And the music was dope there. Too. Like it was
Yes.
super dope. And then he was speaking to them, and they was like, "Yo, we've been attack these Wakandans." I was like, "Yo, can y'all not do that? It's Saturday. Everybody's chilling, and stuff like that."
It's a
Um,
Saturday.
Unlike a lot of people, I like Riri Williams in this movie. I
I do too.
didn't find her annoying. I didn't find any of that. Like she was like, "Oh, she's in there. She's acting all like a little black girl from Chicago." What are we talking about? What is the perfect
Yeah.
black woman for y'all? Like, what we doing? So anyway,
Yeah. We had three different examples in this film and they had issues with everybody.
yeah. So I like what I want to not Tiana Paris.
Denai Guerrero.
No, she was the scene with Denai because that's not where I was going, but the scene with Denai and
Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett, and they in the throne room, and
Yeah.
Angela
It was
Bassett
great.
should have won that Oscar. Like I don't know what happened there, but she should have won that Oscar.
Yeah.
When she was tearing into
Okoye.
Okoye. It's just like you get to visit your husband in jail. I don't have anybody left.
Everybody's gone.
Everybody's going like she was killing it. She stripped her of her rank and everything. Yo, like so that scene was dope. You bald headed demon, also a great line.
Yeah.
I don't know what Ross was doing in this movie. I don't. It just was
No.
like, hey, I was in the last. This is what I was talking about before. Oh, they were in the last movie, so I guess they got to be in this movie. You don't have to do that, which is why I'm
Yeah.
scared for the next Spider-Man movie that they're going to bring Ned back and they're going to bring Zendaya back and it's going to be Zendaya rather, and it's going to be like, oh yeah, we just had to because that's the fabric of this. No, do something else. But anyway, yeah, I really like this movie. The music was good. The final battle scene is interesting because was it cool? Yes. Drying out Namor, I thought was a good idea,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought they executed it well. My only issue is that if I'm going up against a Talican nation whose entire thing is water, the last thing I'm doing is driving a boat into the middle of the ocean. That sounds like a terrible idea. And I don't know
Yeah.
how they got away with that. Well,
They
actually, the
almost
only
did
way
it.
they got away, yeah, the only way is because they dried Namor out.
Yeah. They
Like,
almost
hey,
didn't get away with it.
why don't we go to the ocean where they live? Like, no, that's very different from them coming on land. They flooded Wakanda. That was awesome. The dumbest thing they did in this
Yeah.
movie was kill Ramonda because that made no sense. And while I like this cast in general, I think you lose a lot going into Black Panther 3, not having Angela Bassett and just relying on
And Chadwick.
Winston
Yeah.
Duke and what is her name?
Letitia Wright.
Letitia Wright, and that's really it because Zuri's dead, Ramonda's dead,
Hopefully they bring back what's
Killmonger's
his name.
dead.
Denai
Yeah,
Guerrero is also great, and
they're
hopefully they
not
bring
gonna.
back Daniel Kaluuya to the
Yeah,
third one.
those four are really great actors.
But if
I
you
don't know
add
if I want.
Denzel, like they
If you
said
add
they're gonna add
Denzel,
Denzel,
yeah,
there you go.
but if you also at this point recast T'Challa because this is going to happen after Civil War, so by
Some
that
years
time
are probably gonna pass.
we should you know what I mean?
T'Challa Jr. should be an adult or somewhat an adult, and can start taking over that Black Panther mantle.
I'm not a fan of that,
I don't think
but
they're gonna recast. I think even Ryan Coogler said that Toussaint is the future, so I don't see them
now
recasting.
here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to hate on the kid for taking up a role. Like I've seen people be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, little that's too saint," like blah blah blah. I'm like, hey, listen, man, it's a child. relax.
Yeah.
Like, what are we supposed to? Why don't we just get behind the kid? How about that? Anyway, but yeah, what's your number five?
Wakanda Forever.
Okay, we just talked about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this movie. It left me an emotional wreck in the theater.
That it did. Yeah,
I love the changes to Namor. I always thought he was a cool character. But he was kind of bland at the same time. Like he was cool in the fact that he had a unique look and he did like some cool villainous stuff, but he always played it like he was similar to Loki in a way where like whoever's winning is who he's siding with. So he can flip
mm,
on a dime anytime, but I like that and they can still have that aspect to this character because I think that he has more future in him, and hopefully we get a Namor film. Um, but I love the fact that they added the Mexican culture into it, the Aztecs culture into it, adding the action sequences on the bridge was amazing with the big
that
dude and
was.
the little girl, and how they just brought him into the water. The first time they go into that water nation, how amazing it looked. And I think I'm in a minority of this, but I really like Letitia Wright's performance in this film and how she
Yeah, I
came
did
into her
too.
own as a lead. I thought that she did a really great job leading the film, and her going from like depressed, and this is another movie that kind of dealt with like depression and denial and grief. Um, and now her character moving forward is going to be half T'Challa and half Killmonger. And the whole thing with the first Black Panther was like we needed both of them to kind of like lead the nation together. One was too soft and one was too rough, and now she's gonna have both of them in her, and it's like which side win? Do I lead with peace and love, like she let go Namor when she could have killed him, or do I lead with wrath where she could have killed Namor and then like this whole shit is over with? Because now Namor's alive, and you saw at the end of the movie he's plotting. Um,
I'm gonna keep
so
it a bean with you.
yeah,
She should have killed that nigga. But
I agree. But then maybe the rest of the Wakandans would have been killed if she did.
she, she, she killed his mom, yo. He
Yeah,
killed her mom. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know, I know.
His mom.
But she saved the rest of her people because she
Yeah,
didn't kill them.
that's true.
So yeah, I thought this was a great movie. I think they did a great job with the circumstances that they were dealt with. Right, like they had a plan, they had a movie. Ryan Coogler talked about he told Chadwick Boseman what he wanted for the next movie, and Chadwick Boseman already he took a trip with his family to the Aztec ruins so he could learn it.
Wow.
Like that's how dedicated this man was to it. So like, yeah, it was they were dealt a shitty hand and did an amazing job with it to me.
Yeah, I heard that for sure. So the numbers are just going to be off at this point,
Yeah, it's
because
fine.
I can't keep them together. Anyway, so for me, number four is actually Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts is yeah, no, actually we just talked about this extensively, so we're not about to do that again. I love Thunderbolts. I thought it was a really good movie. We talked about it extensively. If you guys want to hear more of that conversation, rewind to the beginning because we talked about it a lot. Deservingly so. What is your number four?
Oh, my number four would be Spider-Man: No Way Home. Yeah, this is similar to Deadpool and Wolverine in terms of like the rewatchability of the film kind of hurts it, but I Spider-Man's my favorite superhero. He's my favorite fictional character in all of fiction. And there's just moments in this film that just makes me pop every time. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
when I don't like the way that they did the multiverse aspect in terms of pulling in Toby and Andrew. I thought it was lazy, but that moment is so fun and hilarious. I let it pass. And then when Aunt May dies, I think that's where the movie starts getting cooking, and I think that's where the Sony aspect of this film. I always say that yes, obviously the MCU is great for Spider-Man to be in, but I think Sony's ideas is why these movies work. When you combine Sony's ideas with Kevin Feige, go wait, don't go too stupid. think it works out well. And I think a lot of that second half of that film is Sony, and I think it just gets darker. Green Goblin, once again, Willem Dafoe coming in and stealing the show. That apartment fight scene, holy shit,
Yo,
amazing.
one of the, oh my god. As far as fight scenes,
Talk about hand to hands, yeah,
incredible.
incredible.
Incredible. Yeah.
Even right before that, that way of like Tom's what's the name of that? Um Spidey sense, the way they did that
Yeah.
and how he was walking
Oh,
around trying to figure out what was going on.
that's the best use of spider sense I've ever seen.
Yeah, easily. It was so amazing. Obviously, like the lizard didn't do anything. He didn't really need to be in the movie. Um,
He did a
Jamie
little something.
Foxx, Electro was not even anywhere near what he was. It was just Jamie Foxx in a suit. Um, really. And I love Doc Ock. He didn't get to be like shine like I thought he would be able to, but Green Goblin was so great. I love that he was ended up being the villain of the movie and how it brought out a darker side out of Tom Holland Spider-Man that we haven't really seen before, and how Andrew and Toby ended up like playing as like double Uncle Bens for him.
Yeah,
And
that was
yeah,
really cool.
Doctor Strange versus Spider-Man. That's like comic
That
book
was
heaven
really
right
cool.
there.
He beat him with
And for
math, y'all. And I loved
Spider-Man
it.
outsmarting one of the greatest wizards on Earth.
Yeah.
It's just so good. It's so good. Yeah, the story is lackluster in certain spots. They drop the ending of Far From Home in like 5 minutes, but it's just every time I watch that movie and we get to that second half of that film, I'm locked in. I'm locked in.
The second half of that movie is incredible.
Yeah, yeah. Goblin laughing as he takes the punches is goaded.
Oh my god. Yeah. 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 Then he power bombs him through 3 floors.
Yo, that it was crazy.
That was crazy. Yeah, that's one of the best fight scenes I've ever seen in a comic movie.
Yeah.
Fun fact about me: I believe personally the best ever 1v1. This is one versus one fight scene in a comic book movie is the Spider-Man versus Doc Ock on a train in Spider-Man 2. I have not seen
Classic.
anything top it because truth be told, there's not a lot of great 1v1 fights. And what I mean by 1v1 fights is your girlfriend didn't get involved and press a button to help you. A superhero didn't give you an assist. It wasn't a team fight. You didn't just you mess with Spider-Man, you mess with New York. Like not like it was just hands, right? Like
Yeah.
and they just threw hands for what felt like 10 minutes from the clock tower to the end of the train station or train John. Like it was just fisticuffs. And then he was like it was the most Spider-Man thing ever because he was sticking to this train, fighting on the side of the train. Like I was like, yo, this is insane. It did one of the funniest fun comic book things that comics do that you're always kind of like, that doesn't make any sense. Spider-Man is powerful as hell. Doc Ock does not have super strength. Doc Ock should be knocked out the first time Spider-Man punches him. But hey, it's a comic book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is what it is on that point. So I think I have this up. Is this right? Number 3 for me is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Actually, that's ironic because I didn't put that together. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is one of the best movies in the MCU. Like hands down.
All time.
They do with Rocket Raccoon in that movie, taking him center stage, giving us Lyra and Floor
Teeth.
and Teeps and Rocket, and one day they're gonna fly out to the great beyond. They made me fall in love with these characters that I met for the first time.
Yeah.
Right? And it was so insane. But the thing that they do in this movie that is absolute well, they do a couple things in this movie that's incredible. The thing that they do in this movie that's absolutely incredible and very different from a lot of villains is that the villain was a legitimate asshole and he was legitimately evil. It wasn't like,
Yeah.
oh, I get your point. Oh, I understand where you're coming
He
from.
was
You
just
had
a
a bad
terrible person.
childhood. No, you are an awful human being. Like, no,
Yeah.
like I raised that planet, raised Razed. I like destroyed that planet because it didn't meet my standards. He made a whole nother planet with animals, and there's crackheads on this planet too. So, what did you really do to accomplish what you set out to do? Nothing. You still got crackheads on here. You got elephant crackheads walking around. You know what I'm saying? Like in jeans and a t-shirt. He killed everybody on that planet, by the way, that they
Yeah.
escaped from. So yeah, High Evolutionary was incredible as a villain.
Top
He,
5 MCU
t-
villain.
absolutely, because he was who he was. He was just this evil dude.
No
And
backstory, no sob
nope,
story, just a piece of shit.
nope, yeah. And then all the other James Gunn things. Like one of the best things about the Guardians of the Galaxy is that through 3 films plus Avengers movies, they grow into better people without becoming completely different people.
Yeah.
Uh, um, Nebula is the perfect example of this. She is a much better person than when we met her, but she's still going to yell at the top of her lungs in every situation. She's still going to act like a crazy person, but she's different. Like what she's doing that about is different, right? So she didn't
Yeah.
be, yeah. So Drax is the same way. He's the brute. He's all this. He found who, like it, like they take all these characters on a journey. Even Peter, like they take him on a journey. He's a very
Much better
different
person.
person than the way we met him. And what they did really well was they decided not to have Peter and Gamora from 2016 actually end up together. Like Peter
Yeah.
had to learn that that was a relationship that I had that's over now.
It's gone.
It's
Yeah.
gone. It's done. And honestly, I got really emotional when he went back to Earth and met up with his uncle again. Like because like
Yeah.
it wrapped up the trilogy. Like it was so good.
And also,
You know what I
he
mean?
didn't have nothing to stay in space for. Yondu's gone. Gamora's
Yep.
no longer here for him anymore in that
Yeah.
capacity. Let me go back home.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And the Guardians were splitting up anyway. So he's like, why even, you know?
That's another thing. The split up didn't feel forced. It felt like
Oh,
this is the natural progression of where these characters are going. Even Max is saying, "Hey, listen, I'm not staying here with y'all. I've been doing people's bidding my entire life. I want to go out and
mm-hmm.
find out who I am, right? And what I want to do. Like everything felt perfectly wrapped up in
Yeah,
this
us
movie. And
understanding Groot at the end, that was,
oh my god. That was like I felt like as a fan I was rewarded for
yeah.
all the time that I spent with these characters. So yeah, man, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is one of the best um Marvel movies, MCU movies I've ever seen.
Hey, I would
For
say it's
me,
one of the best sci-fi kind of
oh yeah,
action comedies. If you take it out of the MCU, is
yeah.
because it's not tied to anything really other than like the Gamora thing. You just
Hmm.
watch the movie. It's just a great film.
Yeah. And not to mention Cosmo, the space dog,
Yeah,
incredible. And then when she was calling her a bad dog, I always felt so bad for the little one. She was like, "Don't call me a bad dog." He made me care. This man has made me care about a raccoon, a tree, a otter, a walrus, a rabbit with spider legs, and Rocket. Well, I said a raccoon and Cosmo the Space Dog. Like, and
yeah,
I like we saw her like in a like a post credit scene in the first movie, but
yeah.
for all, I just met her, and I'm like protect
Protect her at all
Cosmo at
costs.
all costs. Yeah, like so, and then they paid off the bad dog thing with the good dog. It was so good. It was
Yeah.
so good. Yeah. So yeah. Sorry, I went a little long winded on that, but it's one of my favorite movies of the MCU. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings.
Okay. As
Yeah,
soon as
I
I
really love
find
this
that
movie.
poster,
One of my favorite films in the MCU. I thought that this was just like great action, especially the bus scene.
Hmm.
Him versus his dad, him in the tournament versus his sister. And like that's another thing. Like the movie was like worldwide. It like went to different places, had different
Yep.
setups, and it didn't shy away from the culture. It didn't lean into super stereotypes.
Nope.
And then we got to see a freaking dragon in the MCU. Like this made me
Yeah.
go. They maybe could do a Dragon Ball Z movie now.
Yo, was
Because of this.
crazy. I heard people, oh, it's just a big CGI fest with a big dragon, and you're complaining about the giant dragon at the end?
Are you crazy? And it
Are you
looked good.
serious?
It's not like it looked
It looked
bad.
amazing. It looked
Exactly.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it leveled the character up. Him fighting his father and then getting the 10 rings was so dope. That
Yep.
transfer and how and
Yep.
the color change and everything.
Yep.
Simu Liu is not a character, an actor that I liked from this show called Kim's
Gosh.
Convenience.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, I like this guy. And when I heard he got casted, I wasn't too sure because like I like him, but he doesn't have like a lot of emotional range in his face. But he did a great job with Aquafina, who's another person that could kind of get annoying on her own, but she wasn't
Hmm.
annoying here. They balance each other out in a really great way, and I'm really excited to see like how his like inner world expands and moves forward, but to see how he integrates into the MCU in terms of like interacting with the rest of the Avengers, especially like him and Spider-Man have a close relationship in the comics. It'd be cool to see that play out between him and Tom Holland. He does teach Spidey to do the spider way, which is his like ultimate spider sense. So it'd be cool if he gets to do that here. I know Simu has brought up that he would love to do it. And yeah, I had a great time with this movie from top to bottom. Even the fight scene in the club after he fights his sister, where they're on the bamboos.
Oh, that's an amazing scene. And him versus Death Dealer is incredible.
Yeah. What more? Did Death Dealer get killed? I think he
He
did. I'm kind of
did.
sad.
That was the one thing I was mad about. Why would you waste such a great costume? Like I hate when
Yeah.
people in great
Yeah.
costumes and great looks just get off. Because Death Dealer,
Stop killing villains.
yeah,
Put
I
them in
really feel
jail.
like,
Knock them out.
yeah, he could have been the next movie's like villain for Shang-Chi
Yeah.
because he was the one who trained him, and it was like it could have been like an elevation for him. But yeah, I agree with you. Fantastic. Wait, that was your three?
Yeah, that was my three.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
We
it's you
should
two.
just keep talking about it because my two is Shang-Chi. Um,
Go ahead.
yeah. So everything you said, plus like Wenwu is an underrated villain. I don't hear
Yeah.
enough people talk about Wenwu. Wenwu
Yeah.
is Shu Wenwu is incredible. He's so intimidating. Him with the rings, what they did with the character and giving him an emotional arc where he was this evil tyrant warlord. He meets Shang-Chi's mom. The opening scene. When the opening scene happened and they were doing like a similar thing to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, I don't want to disrespect that art form because I don't want to just be, you know what I mean? But like when
Yeah.
they do that opening scene, I was like, oh, this is going to be amazing. This
Yeah.
is this is going to be a great movie. Like I knew from that moment, from that opening scene, that it was going to be fantastic, and it ended up being because it could have been trash from there. I remember seeing Indiana Jones, the last Indiana Jones movie, opened up with an incredible scene. I was asleep for the rest of the movie. The movie was so boring. Um, but yeah, so like, I love this movie. It's not only like my number two of 20, not 2023. I don't know why I said that. It's not only like my number
Post end
two
game.
on this list, post Endgame. It is, I think it's number 6 or 7 in my MCU rankings. Um, but yeah, so I am very fond of this movie. Love this movie. The fight scene between Wenwu and Shang Chi, even before they both start fighting over the rings, when he's just fighting him with the bow staff, and then he has that line where he says, "You trained me to be a killer. This is what you want." Like, and they just start going
Yeah.
for it. Like, yo, they were killing it. So yeah, all of that. The comedy was really good. Yeah, and all the other stuff that we mentioned too. But I gotta give it to him. Like that dragon was incredible. And then how he killed the dragon, like he did the, you know what I'm saying, with the rings and blew up the dragon. And You know what I'm saying? Unleash the dragon, like Drew Hill said, like Cisco said. But to that point, the villain, even though he was evil at one point, he was tricked by the dragon to try to unleash him. We haven't seen that before. You know what I mean? So it was
Yeah,
like it was very interesting in that way. Now, the one thing I will say is I'm not saying this is a criticism, but at the end of the movie, there's a beep coming from the rings. We haven't heard about that
yeah,
since because we haven't seen Shang-Chi since, which is a
yeah.
travesty.
It's supposed to tie
Um,
into Kamala's bangs, so we'll see where that leads.
yeah. So,
Maybe that's something Doom
um,
wants. He wants the rings and he wants her bangs.
yeah. Number two for you.
Number two. Oh, hot take real quick.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that what I really like about Phase 4 and 5, there's a lot of uniqueness to the movies, each movie,
Yeah,
in
I
terms of
agree.
how they end or like something in there that we haven't seen in the MCU before.
Hmm.
Even the movies that people don't like, I think there's unique stuff in it. So
Agreed.
my number two is a movie that you don't like, and that's Eternals. This movie
Mhm.
blew me away when I watched it. I remember we were halfway through, and I remember my visceral reaction when Icarus killed. Oh my God, what's her name? Salma Hayek's character,
Ajax.
Ajak, and how pissed I
Or
was. I was like,
Ajax.
"How could you do this? You guys are family, and you're supposed to do it, and you just had this wonderful conversation with each other, and you're the traitor." It pissed me off so much, and from there, I was locked in on him dying, and then just how all of it played out, like just given the history of basically of the MCU and how humans got their knowledge and everything, and like how they kind of like gods but they're not, and the fact that they had a purpose, and it kind of reminds me of like soldiers who have a purpose that they're supposed to do for their government, but then they realize what they're doing is maybe not the best thing. It's like, do you stick to your purpose as a good soldier, or do you turn on your purpose because you feel like it's a wrong thing, right? Like, and
Hmm.
like sometimes soldiers, they stay a long time in enemy fields and make friendships and stay in their houses and stuff like that, and then they're told they have to wipe that town out. It's like, what do you do at that point? You just
Yeah.
connected with all these people. Are you going to follow that? And Icarus was the one that was trying to stay as the brave soldier, and everybody else is like, nah, man, this is why we've been living on this planet for millennia. Like, this is our home. So the idea of the celestial being in the core and blowing up the Earth was just like, whoa, this is crazy. This is something that we haven't seen in the MCU before. We haven't really seen it in a sci-fi movie. I love that Chloe Zhao took the chance and didn't use a lot of green screen, like film this on natural like scenery, and the
Hmm.
VFX still look amazing. I thought for sure that the VFX would look like trash filming in broad daylight, but she figured out a way how to not do that. I love that all the characters had like their particular cultures with them. I remember Koi, yeah, Koi from the Real Rejects talked about now he understands why people who are not white talk about seeing representation, because he said he's never seen an Irish person actually represented like an Irish person on screen before, and that was done for him, and he felt proud.
Hmm.
I love all the characters' powers and their dynamics. There are aspects of the movie like there's a lot of characters in this movie that and it's a lot of them. And unlike Thunderbolts, I feel like they did give each character enough time for you to know who each of their lives and problems and things like that. But it still was just too many because I think they had more Eternals than Thunderbolts for
Oh, for
how
sure.
long the movie was.
There's a gang of them niggas.
It was a gang of them. And yeah, I really liked Angelina Jolie and her memory loss disease, and the final action sequence was insane. We talk about some of the best action sequences in the MCU.
Absolutely.
Makari beating the shit out of Icarus was
Icarus. Yeah.
amazing. Him flying into the sun like is the legend that he's based off of, amazing. Yeah, and then the ending, I'll never forget where like the ending of that movie. Just I forgot what the eternal, not the eternal, the celestial name that comes and gets him, the red one, like the main one.
Perish in the
Him
judge.
kind of just, yeah, when he pops up, that took my breath away. I was like, holy shit, and just picks
Yeah.
him up and leaves. That was insane to
It
me.
was
It was just
epic.
a visual feast. It was epic, and now it made me wonder like what's gonna happen. And what pisses me off, other than the movie not being long enough and fleshing out stuff, and then like like that sex scene was so unnecessary. I would rather them
Mm,
show them kissing and then going into the room and alluding to it than show that weak ass sex scene.
yeah,
Uh, just like this movie from top to bottom, one of his biggest staples, and people really can't argue, is that it's one of the best looking MCU movies ever, and one of the best looking comic book movies. But then we get to the end credit scene, and whatever the frick that thing that was with Thanos' brother, that was some of the
yeah.
worst VFX that the MCU had. How do you do that? Like you do this amazing movie for 2 hours that looks flawless, and then the end credit scene looks like absolute garbage. So confusing. But yeah, he said
Yeah.
my brother said Eternals is pro-choice movie, which makes it more interesting. Pro-choice. Interesting.
I haven't thought about it that way.
No.
I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying I haven't thought about it
Yeah.
that way.
It's first you. Your
What poll
brother
did
is
you put up that was crazy? What was
oh
you out here
Thunderbolts
doing?
versus Wakanda Forever. Yeah.
I'm trying to get this canceled. Uh,
All because all that happened because Tom Holland couldn't shut up. Yeah, he was talking too damn much in that movie.
yep. Yep. We
True.
got that. Yep. Not a lot of third
Yeah.
movies can make the first two better. I agree. My ranking for Guardians is 3-1-2.
Me too.
And it's not that the margin between them is not that much. The Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is severely underrated. I love that movie. First half, still a little rocky. But once once they get close to finding, once they start ramping up to figuring out that Ego is evil, Rocket escapes. He takes his ship. He's on the ship with Yandu. They're going to Ego. He sees the giant evil face on the planet Ego, which was incredible looking.
Yeah.
There's still an hour left in the movie when that happens, and that last hour of the movie is incredible. But yeah, High Evolutionary is pure evil. Yep, I know that you went through some of these. So, the fight scene with him and his dad mirrored the fight in the beginning with his mom and dad. Yep, yeah, because he did the arm thing that his mom did to Wenwu. Yeah, that was dope. Bus fight scene is
Yeah.
one of the best in the MCU. 100% agree. Um, don't get me started with Aquafina. Ken knows how much I hate What's the Scuttlebutt.
Lee Scuttlebutt alone is a classic.
You like Scuttlebutt? I didn't know this.
Yeah, I like Scuttlebutt.
What's the Scuttlebutt? That's my joint.
That's my shit. I remember everybody talking
Also,
shit about it, and then when I watched it, I was like, "This slaps."
yeah. Also, that karaoke scene and credit scene is hilarious. Yeah, it is. It's great. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we read that one. All right. So, very obviously, my number one is Spider-Man No Way Home. Um, the movie's incredible. We talked about it extensively. What time is it? It is 11:48. We talked about it extensively. But yeah, I love this movie. My favorite superhero, Spider-Man. I loved at least one movie from each of the trilogies. So what we'll do. I love Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2. I love Amazing Spider-Man, the first one. Love. I like a lot the Amazing Spider-Man, the first one. Oh yeah, I'll skip Spider-Man 3 because whew, even though Sandman, the transformation of Sandman is actually one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a movie. It's actually
Yeah.
that good. Why he turns into Emotep after that and starts flying through the city as a sand, I don't know how that works. He
No
could
one
just
does.
fly now. He can fly as sand. How does that work? Anyway? That as a teenager made me up mad. I was like, "What is happening?" Amazing Spider-Man 2 is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It is awful. Except for the ending scene, the very ending when he's fighting Rhino and that he gives the mask to that kid. Oh yeah, and everything that he does with I want to not Elizabeth Olsen. What is her name?
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone. All the scenes that he has with Emma Stone, even the way Emma Stone dies, all of that was great.
I was so emotional.
Electro was something else. He was awful. That was like, yo, what is happening right now? And then yeah, and then Harry Osborn, like he niggas dying. Just, give me your blood, Peter. I need it for my own body. But on the other hand, Peter, what's the problem? He needs it to live.
And that's your friend.
Give him. He's your friend. Give him your blood. So I don't know because I don't know what it will do to you. I know what not having it will do. It'll kill me.
You're gonna die. Yeah,
Like what's happening here? But yeah, that was weird. I what I loved about Amazing Spider-Man 2 though
agree.
was how long they lingered on Peter's depression after Gwen
Yeah,
died. I thought that they did that really well. Other than that, this movie is hot garbage, and that's most of the movie. Oh, also, it did the thing that I absolutely hate. I don't think I've expressed this as a pet peeve. I kind of mentioned it earlier, but I absolutely hate when the girlfriend or the significant other helps the superhero win the fight. Like, so
mm,
when she was in there in the power plant pressing the buttons, I do the thing. No, the Spider Man I grew up with in the cartoon, he handled niggas by himself. Like he figured it out. And a lot of superhero movies, because there's a love interest, or rely on the love interest to help the superhero win. It's like no, every day these niggas figuring it out. But now he can't figure it out. He can't figure it out because he has a love
especially
interest.
when they,
Yeah,
especially when they cast it like a big actress, they always have to be
yeah.
involved in the
Pepper
finale.
Potts had to hit the button in Iron Man 1. No other way this could have been done, right? So, and there's nothing wrong with Pepper Potts. I'm just like the love interest being the one to push the button has always pissed me off. Like let the superhero figure it out. He's been figuring it out for 60 years of his existence. He can't figure it out now. Anyway, that's a whole nother soapbox. But yeah, awful. Uh, what's the name of the first one in the new trilogy? Old
Homecoming,
Homecoming, amazing. I love that movie. Far From Home,
shaky,
eh,
shaky,
we spend the first
shaky.
half of the movie with them trying to build suspense about who Quentin Beck is. Like I
Yeah,
haven't watched Spider-Man cartoons all my life. I know who Mysterio. Everybody in this theater knows who Mysterio is. Everybody
yeah,
knows who Mysterio is.
yeah,
Why are you trying to trick the audience? Like we don't know. Peter don't know. like,
yeah.
like. So when it turns from, uh, uh, when Mysterio turns and he finds out he's a bad guy, the movie becomes instantly interesting. Before that, it's not interesting anymore, right? And a big part of that is we spend so much time with Peter with the glasses on the bus, jumping up to try to get him, and it's like, the
His
movie,
pants down with the
his pants
woman,
are
and yeah,
down. They make the
yeah.
bus stop and all this other stuff. It's like, oh,
The third act in that movie is really, really strong, but like
yep,
before that, it's rough.
yeah. After Zendaya and Quentin Beck find out who Peter is, and they do all well, he knew who Peter was. After everybody's identities are revealed to each other, the movie's 100 times better. And that fight in that warehouse with Peter dealing with the illusions was incredible.
Incredible. Yeah.
So yeah, I know we weren't supposed to be talking about that, but I don't really need to talk about
It's film
Spider
club.
Man. Yeah, it's film club. I don't
Talking
really
about
need to
films.
talk about No Way Home because it's my number one movie. Is that great? You talked about it. I talked about it when you talked about it. But yeah, it's an amazing film. I love. Here's the one thing I'll say. One part I absolutely loved about this movie: the ending sequence on the Empire. Nope, Statue of Liberty. When they all three of them swing together, I was like, I can't. I had another moment of I can't believe what I'm seeing on my screen right now
Yeah.
because all three Spider-Man were swinging together and it was incredible, right? All the banter between three Spider-Men was incredible.
So good.
Like even when Toby was telling "Hey, that don't talk down about yourself." He was like, "I'm the worst Spider-Man." It's like, don't say that about yourself. That was great,
He said
but
you're amazing.
yeah, yeah, you're amazing. What I really loved about this movie or about that section of the movie is when I was about to say Peter, but Tom Holland is about to kill Green Goblin with his glider, and Tobey Maguire steps in front of him and stops him, and he doesn't say a word. All he has to do is look into his eyes and be like, "You don't want to be this person. You
Yeah,
don't want to.
you know what
I
this
know
is, and
what
it's
you've
not
been
what
through.
you. Yep.
Yeah, this ain't who you are. You're not a murderer, my guy." And then, I quick story. I was walking into the theater to see this movie for the first time. I always, when I go into a movie like this, turn up my headphones. I had some 21 Savage on because I don't want to hear spoilers. It was that important to me. The song, as the song was going off, and was about to start another song, a kid yells in the lobby, "I can't believe uh what was it? Gosh, what was his name?
Oh man.
No, no, no. I, I can't believe Tobey Maguire died. And I'm walking into the theater. He yells this out loud. 21 Savage is going off, and then immediately 21 Savage is coming on. And I'm like, I planned this whole thing where I had the earphones in so I wouldn't hear anybody's foolishness. And so now I'm watching the movie for the first time, expecting Tobey Maguire to die the entire movie. And I'm sad because I know this information. So when Green Goblin actually does stab him at the end, I'm like, oh God, he's going to kill. And then he survives. And I was like, that kid is an asshole. But like it was a kid, right? So oh my
That's
God. Oh, a teenager.
insane.
It
I
was like a
can't
teenager.
believe Toby died. Is nuts.
I was walking into the theater through the door. Woo! I was mad, but I was so happy that at the end that he didn't die. So I was like, but at the same time, like I was watching this entire movie, it's like, oh, he's going to die. He's never going to get back and see Mary Jane. Like this is what I'm thinking because you know what I mean. So, oh,
Yeah.
one last thing. All of the scenes in Abuelita's house with them putting webs all over the house, and she's, "Can you get that? Get the web down. Get the web
Yeah.
up off my ceiling. Can you get that, please?" Like that was great. All right, I'm done. I'm done. I've spoken enough. What is your number one, sir?
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Awesome.
We talked about
Great
this
movie.
at extensive length. I think this may be from top to bottom almost the most perfect MCU film. I have
Mm-hmm.
little gripes with it. Like my gripe is Drax not being Drax or like not growing too much into outside of being the joke of the group, being called dumb and stuff like that. That kind of bothered me. But other than that, the movie is so damn good. Emotionally,
Yeah.
action, the way it opens up with Iron Warlock coming in and busting their asses,
Mm.
like
Yeah.
yeah, teeth and all that stuff that you talked about. All that is really really emotional.
Yep.
All the emotional arcs almost every character gets is incredible. The action sequence in the hallway with this music was so dope. The way that was
Forgot about
filmed.
that. That was great. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Them riding those weird animals after you thought they were gonna eat them, they tamed them. Star Lord being stuck in space, you think he's gonna die.
Yep.
Yeah, just it's just so much goodness in there, man. When Groot and Starla go to things like and they execute their plan and they jump off the
Oh
building and
yeah.
hold a guy down and rub his face.
Mm-hmm.
That was so awesome. The plane almost crashing next to him. There's just so many moments. The first F bomb in the MCU.
Yep.
When they get off the thing and Drax throws a ball at the kid and they start throwing rocks at them or something like that. It's just really
Yeah.
funny moments throughout, and the jokes actually land. The action is dope. The emotional part of Peter trying to finally figure, like, this is not my Gamora. She does not want me. Him telling, like, I don't have any memories of any of this, so leave me
Mm.
alone. But then her
Yeah.
saying, like, you know what, in another universe, I could see myself fall in love with you. That's all he needed to
Mm.
hear.
Mm-hmm. The funniest thing in the world would seeing them in another movie, and she actually does fall in love with another Peter, and Peter's pissed off because.
That would be
but
hilarious.
yeah, one last little thing I'll say about it, and then we can wrap this up. Was now I didn't forget what I was going to say, but they freed the animals at the end. That was really
Yeah.
cool. I forget what I was going to say. Oh, it doesn't need to be said, but the soundtrack was incredible. Once
Incredible.
again, yeah.
Once again.
So I think that's it. I had something in my brain, but I can't remember. Oh, when they're in the High Evolutionaries throne room, if you want to call it that, and he's ignoring them, right? He's ignoring Peter and Groot, and that whole sequence is like kill him, and he hands them the guns out of the tree trunk, and and then
That shit
Groot
was
has
fire.
all of his branches shooting. That was incredible.
It was
And
so
then they
dope.
jump out of the window,
And
and
Groot
he's like,
flies.
"You didn't have a plan." And Groot flies with wings. That entire sequence was incredible.
It's
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah. So, guys, that is our rankings for. I did not expect this to go this long, but we some chatty patties. I did
Yeah.
not expect this to go this long, but this is our
We love
rankings
talking film.
for our phase 4 and 5
Post
or
Endgame.
post Endgame MCU films. Probably should have waited until Fantastic Four because we're not doing this whole long thing again. We'll just let you know where it falls in between. But yeah, so I'll probably do like a video ranking them because
Yeah.
that probably will bring in because that's the end of the phase. Wait, no, that's the start of the next phase, right?
Yes. Fantastic
Oh,
Four just started a new
never mind.
phase.
This is it. So I'm not even going to do that. I'm not even going to make a whole another video. But yeah, so yeah, guys, thanks for stopping by. Let's read some of your last few comments if there are any.
Yeah,
No,
I have
that's it.
some starred ones, so let's just go
Okay.
through that, and then we're
Yeah,
gonna obviously, fortunately, the last topic. I'm gonna have to drop that one.
I don't remember
Um,
what it was. Oh yeah, I don't
yeah,
want to talk about that at this time of night anyway. Uh,
yeah.
yeah.
So Collective Movie Man said, Mom said yes to me yesterday she would get me the Kingdom of Heaven 4K Steelbook when it comes out in May, but I can't have it until Christmas or my birthday. Damn,
Damn, that's a wow.
that's like 6 months you gotta wait for your Christmas gift. But at least you know
Yeah.
you're getting it. At
Right.
least you know you're getting it. I'm just happy she said yes. It was very nice. Yeah. Did you like my Lilo and Stitch 4K I got today? Of course, it's Lilo and Stitch, one of the greatest
Lilo
animated
and
movies
Stitch
of all time.
is my second favorite Disney animated movie right after Lion King.
Love that. Just started season 2 of Handmaid's Tale. I need to watch that because I started the first season and I kind of fell off, but I heard it's an incredible show.
Yeah.
Zach and Kenny Sparks, did you hear Bob Iger stepping down from Disney at the end of 2026? Are you guys worried at all? Because I am a little. I just got to see who's taking over for him
Yeah. I
first.
think I don't
Um,
think they'll. I hope they don't make the same mistake as they did before. But I don't think they will because he's
we
like,
saw
hey,
the
I put a
results.
finance guy in here, and they didn't respect art or people. So I probably know not to do that again.
Yeah, no finance first, guys. Okay, we talked about that. I didn't get to check that out yet, but I will. Tennis Reba said, I used to like it when they tried to find out who was Batman or Spider Man. It was like a mystery. Now they revealed it too easy and somewhat early. I agree. I think
Yeah.
that the identities of superheroes need to go back to being a mystery. And that
Hmm.
struggle of, oh my God, who do I tell? And all that stuff, that needs to come back.
Yeah. I heard that.
Especially in
And we got
DC.
our
Like,
guy. I was good. I'm
late,
sorry.
but hello.
Hey man, how's it going?
TJ!
Glad you made it.
He said, honestly, looking at all the movies, not bad all overall. I truly think the shows ruined the MCU reputation because these are still pretty solid.
I agree with that. I think the shows are mediocre. They're
Mm,
not bad. They're not like, oh my god, this is god. Except for Secret Invasion. Oh my god, this is like god awful. A lot of them have cool concept. They look cool. They have great actors and actresses in them, all of them.
yeah.
But then you get to that, like we talked about earlier, we get to that fifth episode, and that's when they decide, hey, we need to come up with a really good conflict for this person that
Here's
they can
all the
resolve
stakes.
in the next 30 minutes. And it's like, what are we doing? Right. So
Yeah.
um I remember being shocked, legitimately shocked at how good Agatha all along was because it came from that crop of before. I was like,
Yeah,
oh
and
my
it
God, this
also
is really
wasn't
good.
it wasn't 6 episodes. Like
No. Yeah.
WandaVision is 9. That worked really
Hmm.
well. Loki figured it out to do the 6 episode thing.
I don't know how they did that, but they killed it.
They killed it both two seasons in a row.
Hmm.
Um Yeah, and I really like Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's
That's a
not a
good
good week
show.
to week show. It's a really good binge watch.
Yeah,
Same thing with Hawkeye. I love Miss Marvel a lot.
Miss
I
Marvel's
am a fan
great.
of She Hulk. I know a lot of people don't like that.
I
Moon
am
Knight
not.
is solid, but I think it
That
jumped the
last
shark.
that last episode, yeah, giant Khonshu versus
Kaiju,
giant person on the
yeah,
pyramid. What are we doing, guys?
yeah.
Like
It
you
just
could
felt
feel it
off.
in the penultimate episode, the episode before the last episode, that it was kind of like, what can y'all do, and what are y'all going to do in this final episode? Because y'all
Yeah,
have set yourselves up to not have any time to do anything. Oh, you
that's
guys are
exactly
doing
what
a
happened.
giant kaiju battle. Got you. And it did the most annoying thing I have ever seen in an MCU Disney Plus show. Moon Knight is fighting Glass Foot guy, whose name I can't remember right. And whoever Kevin Bacon, no, that's not Kevin Bacon. Whoever,
It's the other guy that looks like Kevin Bacon.
yeah, Ethan Hawke was playing.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're fighting. They cheat us. He switches personalities. We come back and he's dead. And he's down. He's knocked out. So we don't
yep,
get to see the rest of the fight. I waited
yep.
all this show to see the
This
final
build up
confrontation.
between them. Yep,
Yeah. And then it's like
so
I
silly.
switched personalities and kicked his ass and haha, look guys, we don't even know what happened. Oh no, that's for Mark to figure out. I need to see that. You know what I mean? Like
That
that's
was
his
weird.
problem. That
I
was
had
weird.
rewinded a bunch of times because I thought it was a glitch. I was like, no
Same.
way they did that.
Yeah. And then they killed him at the end. What was like God, that was
Yeah,
just dumb. But
yeah. There
everything
was some
before that
really
was
interesting
great.
aspects. Yeah, like going through his mind.
Yeah.
When Khonshu turned over the stars,
That was
holy
amazing.
moly,
That
that was
was incredible.
amazing.
Yeah.
There's so much amazing visual stuff and like story stuff up until that last episode. That's where everything just fell off the rails.
What's constantly disappointing about the shows is they always feel like they're leading to something and then they just halt and try to fix it, and it's just annoying. That
Yeah.
episode where he's actually going through his past and his history, and he
So
starts
good.
walking in the street, crying in the street. Oh my, yo, Oscar Isaac
Oscar
was
Isaac.
incredible in
The
that.
fact that he's
So
not more of a linchpin in terms of the MCU is crazy to me. Like
yeah.
he needs to be used more.
Plus, all of the powers are dope.
Yeah.
All of this is dope.
Yeah.
You're telling me that you're not gonna use this again at all? You guys
Yeah.
set up a really dope character, and then they set up the man thing and everything. Werewolf by Night, which was phenomenal, by the way. But
Man Thing was supposed to be in Thunderbolts.
that's right. I remember hearing that.
But he said
Oh,
Marvel was like, nah. Have a good night, collect the movie man, later man.
and that's a
Most of
great
the MCU shows
transition
end up flopping in the family, which sucks to see. Yeah.
finale. Yeah.
Yep.
Um.
But yeah,
But
this
yeah.
was really, really fun, guys.
Yep.
This was a great
Cheers.
episode 10. Cheers, and watch the movies this week, and we'll talk to you guys next Tuesday about whatever films that come out. I think it's Fight or Flight or
Friendship.
Friendship and probably something else.
Yeah.
Um,
If
but
we
we'll
don't
see
see
you
anything
guys.
that's really impactful, we'll find something to talk about.
We'll find something to talk about.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace, y'all.